Welcome to the Exploding Heads Horror Podcast, episode number 13. One of our favorite numbers. This is the listeners. Yes. Was that? Are you pimping your show? Is that what that was?
No, I just said lucky 13. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Deja vu, anyone?
Yeah.
I thought you were doing the same joke, and I was going back with the same.
So was
joke.
I.
Okay. See? Oh, that is what you said the first time.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this is our second run around. We just recorded 12 minutes. It was absolutely atrocious, but it wasn't recorded, so it ended up being good. But yeah, we're starting off not much better this time. But yeah, episode 13, listener's choice, and wow, we're happy to be here. We're really excited about it. I'm Dave Z. Of course, we have Christian, we have Brandon.
Hello.
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 And we're all happy to be here. Hello.
Hello.
We're happy to be here, especially today, because it's listener's choice, and what better time to celebrate the listeners than right after the news that we just got like a week or so ago, that our show is the most downloaded show on the Horror Feed Network in the month of April.
Yay.
I did not know this.
Amazing, amazing, and nobody saw it coming, except Christian.
I am the great Kazoo.
You did it,
Wait,
man.
who saw
You made
Christian
that.
coming?
What do you say? Christian's coming.
Who saw Christian coming?
I do
Don't get
twice
me
a day, but that's.
Here we go, the shallow end of
Yeah,
horror.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know what, though? I will say that if it came across as pompous, I didn't mean it to come across as pompous. I do the editing on the show, and when I heard that show, I said, "Wow, action-packed, tons of movies mentioned," and I just knew it was gonna, hit home with a lot of horror fans.
You were right. Yeah, you were. I mean, I hope it hit home. We know they at least listened. So
Yeah.
a lot of people listened. It dominated the network. It was the first time it's happened. It took us by surprise. And we were slipping. I think I mentioned on that show before that we started off 1, then we went 2, then we went 3. Then boom, zip, back to 1. So it was a pleasant surprise. I didn't expect that to happen. Usually Skeleton Crew, anytime we release a show at all, it automatically is number 1. Anytime a show comes out by the Skeleton Crew, it's just automatic. And it has been since 2012, except for 1 month when Banana Laser, I'm proud to say, knocked them out of the top spot for 1 month. But since then, it hasn't happened until now. So that was...
You're the only one that can knock the top show, which happens to have you on it, out of first place?
Yes, but the first time when I was on Banana Laser, I wasn't on that show yet. I was brand new to podcasting.
So it's not you, it's me. I knew it was me. I knew it.
Yep, it's you. It's the wild card.
It's the wild card.
So yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for,
You're welcome.
Yeah, you too, Brandon. Thank you.
I thought you were thanking us for
Thank
I am
you.
thanking you guys.
making the show what it is.
Thank you all. We're just thanking everybody here. Is that so bad?
No.
No.
The listeners, without that, we wouldn't have this show or that number 1 spot. So, hey, I'm all for it. And I love the feedback we got on that show, too. Even if I got called out for not liking The Descent, even if Brandon didn't get nearly as... I thought you were going to get razzed for that Friday 7 thing. And honestly, I had to bring it up.
It's all in the wording. It's all in the wording. Go back and listen. I never said it was my favorite film. I said I wanted to give a shout out to a film that was...
It was your pick for that year.
That I watched a lot as a child, and I just have to give it a shout out for that year.
It was your official selection, correct?
It was my official selection, but
Okay.
I don't consider it my favorite.
Period. End of
Well,
story.
you broke the rules. You shouldn't have then. What can I... Now you got to live with it.
I'll live with it. Yeah, no, I'll take it.
Yeah, I bet you'll take it. Black Phillip style.
I'll take it Black Phillip style.
Oh, boy. Yes, Black Phillip, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing, Philip? Very good.
This show's hit an all-time low.
Well...
Not sure if that was a sheep or a goat.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I got something to tell you here.
Cue the soundbite.
Dave's very quick on those sound bites. Only takes him about 35 minutes.
It's like he's digging his phone out of his back pocket.
Dave, I gotta be honest, you do it better.
I do. Clickety clackety. Clickety clackety. So back to the show after my clickety clackety soundbite, but it's official because I got the Blu-ray, so I'm happy, and that's one of the things I did. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna isolate that for the show. Clickety clackety, nice. Yeah.
That should drop us to number 10.
Yeah, we're heading down. It's gonna be a. It was a fluke. It was a fluke. We're Buster Douglas. I know it. We'll see. Either way, we're happy people are listening, regardless of what spot we're in. But it was nice to take that spot. So, how perfect is it that the listener show comes right after we get that news, and life is good.
Yeah,
we're happy with it. And we got emails. We asked for emails. We got them. It only took us to ask, and then we did, and we got those couple others that just did for the hell of it. Last show that we discussed, and now we have real emails. Almost, you could say, flooding in. So
we shouldn't have to ask. I'm sorry.
No, we shouldn't.
The listeners at this point are like, "What the hell are these guys laughing about?" They have no idea.
Take two. That's all right. Uncommon Interests. Remember that was the show I was on? I did the interview with our friend Craig Chaos, and he sent us an email. Says, hey guys, thanks for the shout out last episode. Wanted to ask you guys about a movie. Back in the day, I used to mess around with a woman with big old titties. Her titties got nothing to do with it, I just wanted to brag. Nice. This is the shallow end of horror. I'm dubbing it. It's in response to the Shockwave show, that new show. They call themselves the deep end, and I said, well, I guess they can have that moniker, but I think the shallow end fits us well. So here we are. Anyway, it's going to come after the colon. Exploding Heads Horror Podcast, colon, the shallow end of horror. Sound good?
Now, would that be a bleach colon?
Of course it does. Yes, of course it is.
Where would you find that bleach colon? Would that be in the resurrectum?
Ooh, my own phrase. Colon resurrectum. Ow, yeah. I have a feeling that's going to come up again, too.
Oh, I know, because I saw one of the questions.
Anyway,
I'm jumping the gun as usual.
That's okay. It's some guys have that problem. It's okay.
It's okay, Christian. At least you're not spotting like Dave.
All right. Anyways, it's like the letter says, she turned me on to a little film called Little Cory Gory. It shows up on a lot of those 20 horror films on 2 DVD sets. Are any of you familiar with this film or the director's work? They actually have a website to watch for free. On the side, you can read about how the filmmaker got ripped off. It's crazy. Wow. Thanks, Craig Chaos. P.S. Rocky IV. The first film I saw at a drive-in was A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, double bill with Rocky IV. Such an odd pairing. You be the judge of which is the better film. Okay, so 2 orders of business. Little Cory Gory. What do we know?
Well, I brought it up on the 40-year show.
You brought it up? What prompted you to bring it up?
When we got to 93, I was just shouting out the names of films from that year, and that one popped out.
Oh, it was a shout out in.
I never saw it though.
It was a shout out in the literal sense, like you didn't.
That's possibly how I know the name because I never saw the movie.
I never saw the movie either. Although reading the synopsis, I kind of want to see it now.
Well, I'm gonna go on the website and read about how the director got ripped off, and that'll be our cliffhanger for next week.
Cliffhanger.
Now we have enough.
Didn't get ripped off.
We'll have to see that and possibly his ex-girlfriend's big titties.
Yes. Yeah, we'll
I
take.
took them for a spin last night.
Yeah.
Did you pinch him after the show? Oh!
Come on, Craig. Why didn't you include the picture? This is an email. If you want to send pictures, you could have sent a picture of those big old titties.
Yeah, we would have shown it on the podcast.
Just a close-up.
Yeah, we would have showed it on the webpage, on the Facebook page. I'd do that. We wouldn't get in trouble. But yeah, so we'll talk about that next. But Little Cory Gory, you know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like it's a Garbage Pail Kid, doesn't it?
It does.
Doesn't it, Cory Gory?
Yeah.
It might even be a Garbage Pail Kid.
Well, that's a movie you have to see if you haven't seen that movie.
Oh yeah,
Garbage Pail Kids. It's
that's
like
a hell of a movie.
Yeah, it's like a hidden treasure. It's so cheesy and garbagey. It's great.
it's out of control. Like I saw it for the first time a couple years ago, and I was like, man, I wish I would have seen this in college, because it's a movie that if you're whacked out on something, which I was in college, you would enjoy it. It's like totally made for acid or weed or something. It's freaking wacky. So don't do drugs, kids. Just saying. So Corey Gory, nobody has seen it, so
No.
we're not familiar with this or the director's work, right? I don't know who the director is. I can't.
Well, then, yeah. Well, then
Bill,
no.
Bill Maroney.
Bill
Bill
Maroney.
Maroney.
Shoot me another title that he's done.
Safe House, Roll Call, and Old School. Not old school. Old School.
Like Old King Cole, OLE.
No, just old. Just all.
And
Oh, well.
it's
Oh, how
school
about
spelled with a
yourself?
K.
That's not even. I don't even think it's out yet. He only has 4 credits on here. What? I don't even know if these other films are horror.
Oh, okay. Well, we're not familiar, Craig, but we'll keep up on it. Okay, let's get to this part now. Rocky 4. Did we bring it up on show 100 or so? 100? Show 10?
We definitely mentioned it.
Oh, we talked about No Easy Way Out and everything. So I
Yeah,
just don't
'cause I
remember.
mentioned-
Yeah,
I
if you
mentioned
guys-
my friend's uncle wrote the song.
Yeah,
So maybe he did hear it on show 11. Okay, so he brought up Rocky 4, right? So yeah, so he saw Rocky 4 and Nightmare on Elm Street 2 at a drive-in.
That's a weird double feature.
And that's what he said. It's such an odd pairing, and it's
It
true.
is.
But what is the better film?
Rocky 4.
Yeah, there's really no debate there.
I gotta tell you, this is weird for me, and I'll tell you why. I'm a big fan of the Rocky series. Like parts 1 through 3, I love them. I love those movies. Rocky 4 may or may not be my least favorite in that entire series.
Yeah, you're crazy.
What?
You're absolutely crazy.
No, that. I could say Friday 7's the greatest movie ever now, and I won't get as much shit as you will for just saying that statement.
I agree now.
It's bubblegum. You agree with me? Or
It is
Brandon?
no, Brandon. It is bubblegum. That's what makes it just the best out of the best. I told you, it's a music video expanded into a feature-length film, and it works on every level.
I think it's so boring when he sets foot in Russia. I check completely out of that movie. As a kid, I did. I always have. Like, the beginning is fine. The beginning is really cool, actually, and everything with Apollo. The first like half an hour is great. I've noticed that a lot of movies have great first acts, and then I fall out. And this is one of them. And it shouldn't have been. I mean, I loved 1 through 3. Part 3, man, I could quote that thing word for word when I was a kid. I was so wrapped up in Rocky at that time. And then 4 came. I like the fight in 4. I think it might be the best fight of him and Drago. But it just seems that, for me personally, after he sets foot in Russia and that training begins and just that whole thing, and I don't know, the montages and the discussions, I don't know, it just took me right down. It was like, those movies are all high. There's I don't know, it just seems like everything came to a screeching halt for me in that right then and there. So I don't know. I guess I'm in the minority.
You don't know.
I guess not.
Rocky 5 is the worst of the series.
I gotta tell you, I don't know. I enjoy Rocky 5.
Well, I enjoy it too, but it's probably my least favorite out of the series.
The fight sucks.
Or Rocky Balboa.
Oh, no,
I
I
like
like
Rocky.
that too.
Ugh. Or
you?
Creed.
I haven't seen Creed yet, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
I definitely will.
Creed's a big turd.
A lot of people love
we already talked about this. I disagree, but no, Rocky 4. I agree, Brandon. Dave's wrong, and I'm not a big. I love the Nightmare on Elm Street series for the most part. We'll get to those, I guess, soon-ish. Maybe not. I don't know. But 1 and 3 are fantastic. 2 is one of my least favorite. 2 and Freddy's Dead, and I guess the remake. Those are all kind of the ones that near the bottom. I give 2 a slight edge over Freddy's Dead in the remake for sure.
I'm weird because number 2, like 1 and 3 are my favorite 2. Probably 3 first and then 1, and then after that, I don't care very much for the series. But part 2 is still my 3rd favorite. It's the number 3 by default. It's better to me than the atrocities of 4 and 5 and 6, and yeah, and I don't like New Nightmare. it's just as ridiculous as the others. But it's actually my third favorite. I would only give it like maybe a 5.5 out of 10 or something, but it still qualifies for being my third favorite of that series. So it's tough. I mean, I guess if I'm talking like that, by default, I guess I'd have to pick Nightmare 2 over Rocky 4. But
blasphemy.
I'm not thrilled with either of them. It's just, you know.
I know we're a horror show, but again, you can't just by default pick the horror movie. Rocky 4 is just like, hey, to me that like is a perfect American film. Hollywood film. It just popcorn.
It is. It's too popcorn. It's too cheesy, man. It's like.
And don't get me started on popcorn.
Soon enough, right? It's like a jump the shark moment. That's what Rocky 4 is. It's when the series jumped the shark to me.
A lot of people thought that, I think, but the magic was still there, and it was. I don't know. I love it. It is tons of montage sequence. It is a padded film, but it works for that. It just works. And
I'll tell you, Rocky 5 is the opposite to me. I like the first 2 acts, and I don't like the fight, and I don't like the end. Usually I like the fight. Rocky 5, I like the story and how I'm going back and everything else. But when it came down to the actual fight shit, and it was a street fight, it was just fucking. I didn't like that. I mean, it fit the movie, but
yeah, so, Rocky 4 all the way. We're all in the.
So Rocky 4 2-1, we win.
Yeah. All right, you win. All right.
Rocco.
Next, Rocco, you rock.
That should be the next Rocky versus Freddy. Yeah, Julieta, having some bad dreams. There's this guy. No?
Yeah, we should just do that. Series against series. What's the better series? Bottom line. It's definitely Rocky. I don't think you need a show for that. I don't know. But oh, fucking. I'm a horror guy first.
Paulie.
Paul.
Got whacked up. Paulie got whacked up by this Freddy.
Okay, question 2. Travis Christian. All right, my man.
Love that last name.
Yeah.
Way to have 2 first names.
Yeah. Nice.
I only have 1.
He says, great show. Listening to number 11, about halfway through it. Great job so far, guys. I have not heard so much race slang since I watched Clint Eastwood's Grande Trino. Good work, guys.
Oh, man.
Is that a compliment?
No, he says keep up the great work. So
perfect.
I guess he enjoys it. So yeah, we talked all kinds of shit, didn't we? All right, now we have Bill, our buddy Bill Casanelli.
Wait, there was no question there?
No, just a comment. He's having fun. That's it. But I'm reading it because that's how we roll around here, you know. So, this is a long one. Holy cow! Subject idea. We're gonna do the long one on the next show because it's gonna be pretty in depth. So we'll do that on the next show. So now, okay, Bill Casanelli, how about you guys do an episode about killer genitals? You could start with 75's Welcome Back, Brother Charles. I don't know what that is. Go through Teeth, Bad Biology, One-Eyed Monster, and Killer Rack. I'm sure that there are more. Those are just off the top of my head. Later, BC. BC.
Killer genitals.
See? This is the shallow end of horror. It's true. Who would think to ask that question unless that was true, right?
We should do that.
Killer genitals?
I'm sitting on some killer genitals right now.
Let's do it.
You should smell this nutbag.
Oh.
All right. Next question.
Yeah, thank you.
We are going to do that show. We'll get on with it. We'll figure it out. Okay, this is our buddy. He's usually on Twitter. Evil Taylor Hicks.
Oh, this is the big question.
Oh, here it is. The term paper.
This is the big... And I initially, I said I'm going to surprise them on the show with it. And, just to get further reaction. I didn't even read the whole thing. And I even went back and said that. But upon further review, I was like, well, we can't do it. That's too much to think about. So let's get on the big question, because this is interesting. Hey, guys. Evil Taylor Hicks here. Escaping the 140-character restrictions of Twitter to pose a Friday the 13th hypothetical for you. Take a drink, everybody.
Take a drink.
Yeah. You're given the chance to do an all-star version of Friday the 13th, where you put together a new movie using any characters from previously made Friday the 13th films, including the remakes. This is nerd fantasy, so characters would be played by actors at the same age as when they first played them. You get to use any director and screenwriter from the previous films. With this in mind, who would be your director, screenwriter, final girl, Jason and or Pamela, supporting cast? The one catch, though, is that every movie in the series must be represented, meaning even Part 8 must be represented in some way. Loving the show, guys. Looking forward to the next episode, Evil Taylor Hicks. All right. See, we can't escape Friday the 13th.
No, that's a great question.
It is
but
when
I read it, I was like, I'm gonna need a couple of weeks.
What about you? I mean, I could go right now.
I could go right now, and it would be the telekinetic girl from Part 7 riding Muffin, fighting
What?
deformed face Jason from Part 1, who's riding his mother, in a big jousting battle at the end.
I don't think that's what he meant, but that's okay. You used a couple of movies in there, and
You did use a couple. And now he thinks he's a big shot because he was Muffin now because of our trivia the other day.
I was telling Christian before we started recording that you pulled out the trivia because you knew Muffin.
Yeah, hey, you gotta know Muffin. Okay, well, Christian, what do you got?
okay, here we go. I'm gonna use. I'll try to go in order. So the writer is going to be Victor Miller from Part 1. The final girl is going to be Amy Steele from Friday the 13th Part 2. I'm going to steal the Shelley character from Friday the 13th Part 3 because it's Shelley, and he might bring Jason a hockey mask or something like that. I'm going to steal Ted White as Jason from Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. I'm also going to take the demon character because he's awesome from A New Beginning, and he's just going to be one of the victims in the movie. Tom McLaughlin is going to be the director from Jason Lives. I'm going to steal the sleeping bag kill from Friday the 13th Part 7, A New Blood. And the distributor is going to be Paramount, and that's what's coming from Friday the 13th. Though Jason Takes Manhattan, I should say. That was a cheap one, but that's what I'm stealing from that. From Jason Goes to Hell, we're going to take the special effects crew, which is the guys behind Walking Dead, K&B or whatever they were back in the day.
Yeah, there was somebody. Yes, yeah.
Then from Jason X, I'm stealing the face smash kill, which is just phenomenal. Freddy vs. Jason, I'm stealing Robert Englund, and he's going to be Crazy Ralph. And then from the remake, Friday 13th, 2009, I've got to steal Juliana Gill, the hot one with the stupendous tits. Yeah, she's going to be in it too. There you go.
Wow. Two things. Oof, wow. That was really good. And number two, our lists are a lot alike.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah. I didn't get as good as you did. I just looked at the things and I didn't. But now I'm going to do it your style. This would be more fun. So here's what we are the same. Actually, no. My director is going to be Steve Miner because he did two of them. He did 2 and he did 3. So I guess I'll credit him. He comes from Part 3.
Joe Zito.
Because my final girl, Joe Zito is cool, but he's not the man like Miner.
He's directing my muffin scene.
There you go. Okay, Joe Zito. Ginny has to be my final girl, of course.
Yes.
Of course she does. So that's what comes from Part 2. So I kind of did a good trick there because I got Steve Miner. I used him from 3 instead of 2. So I got Miner from 3. I got Ginny from 2. Amy Steele, of course. Now, the screenwriter, of course, same as you, Victor Miller, because who else?
Yeah.
That's what started it all. I mean, you could say Ron Kurz if you wanted to get, into it. But so there you go. That's from Part 1. Now, because of that, because I took everybody from the movies, well, because my makeup guy, I love K&B and those guys, but I got to go with Savini.
I know. That was hard. I stiffed Savini, to be honest.
I can't stiff him, so he's gonna get pulled from the final chapter, which means I have to take a Jason from not from 1, 2, 3, or 4. Well, 1 doesn't count. Fuck yeah. I can't use a 2, 3, or 4 because they've been used. So
Derek
I'm
Mears.
gonna. You think Derek Mears? Huh?
Don't get me wrong, Kane Hodder. I love Kane Hodder, and I actually like C.J. Graham, even though a lot of people don't like that movie so much. But I think Derek Mears, because he borrows so much from the Ted White version of it. I don't know. That's my new go-to as my second choice for Jason.
Yeah, I do like him. I do like his portrayal. I don't think I could do that. I just think that. Well, who else am I going to take from 7? All the characters sucked in 7.
Bernie.
So, Barney.
Terry
Barney.
Kaiser.
Oh, Bernie. Okay.
He could play Bernie.
Yeah, yeah, he could be dead.
Bernie
He could be a
versus
crossover.
Jason.
Yes, this time Bernie was killed by Jason, and fucking the counselors have to pretend he's alive.
Weekend at Jason's. Weekend at Grand Crystal Lake.
They keep him alive so Jason keeps coming back to try to kill him again. That's the whole plot. Weekend at Crystal Lake.
Oh. Weekend at Jason's.
Yeah. Weekend at Higgins Haven.
Oh, nice. Holy shit. So, I don't want to use anybody from 7, so I'm going to use Kane Hodder from 7.
That's good.
Yeah, so that's what I'll do with that.
You guys are really riding the 7 thing. The 7 is not that bad.
The characters aren't very good. I'm not saying it's that bad. I like 7 more than I like fucking
8?
6 and 8 and 9 and 10.
More than 6? Really?
Wee. No, yeah, a lot of people don't like 6 anymore. I love 6 too, but
yeah,
no,
I like 6.
I like 8 is probably my least favorite. And then
9 and 8.
yeah, and then 7 and 9 kind of together. And I think I like 10 a little bit more than the 10 would have been better if it was more comic book, but we're not going to get into all those. Sorry, Dave. Keep
No,
going.
it's okay. What did I forget now? I just need supporting cast, right? I got the makeup, I got the writer, the actor, right? Yeah. So supporting cast, I got to pluck one from each thing. So I didn't use anybody from 5 yet. So yeah, I got to piggyback you there. Of course, it's going to be Demon. Absolutely, he's one of the best characters. He's great. You know. Shit. And.
Those damn enchiladas. Ooh,
baby.
let's sing it.
Right.
Let's do a duet. I'm just
The damn enchiladas. Oh man. So yeah. So Demon from 5. Now 6. Oh man. Who do I like? Oh, the only one I like in 6 really. I guess you know what I like? I like the Darcy DeMoss, the camper girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pick her because she did a good job and she's sexy. So we'll throw her in there. She could do more than ride. Ride in a van, or not, or she could be in the same scene, whatever. 7, we have him. Okay, 8. Who am I gonna take from 8? You know, I'm gonna take from 8 that fucking dog. Give him a purpose.
How about
right?
just the guy's head? and it explodes in your version. It's just an exploding head.
Nice. How about a dog exploding head?
That would be awesome.
Can I blow a fucking dog's head? Why not, man?
Probably. You've done it before.
I've heard you. I've heard you've blown worse.
Bam a lamb. Oh, Black Phillip. Yeah. So yeah, that dog didn't have a purpose in that movie. He sucked. So I'm gonna give him a purpose in this one. Exploding head or not, he's gonna be in there.
Toby, this fucking dog.
Yeah, your name's Toby. That's right. And so that's 8. Jason Goes to Hell. What can I salvage from that fucking shit? Oh boy, who is a good character from Jason Goes to Hell? Anybody? Fuck Creighton Duke. You took the makeup people. Smart move. Oh, I'll take Erin Gray just because I like her. Yeah, she could fit in. She's fine. I've always liked her, and she's kind of cute. Part 10. What do we have? Gee, who'd you take from 10?
I just took a kill. I don't know. I kind of cheaped out there. I stole the kill, the face smash kill from that movie.
Well, should I? No, I won't steal a kill. All the girls are hot, actually, in that movie.
Lexa Doig.
Yes, thank you. I'll take Lexa any day. Oh, yeah. She's a very underrated franchise girl. No one talks about her. Yeah.
Canadian. A lot of Canadian in that one.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, are you surprised? Shit, they film everything there. You know?
So it's fucking tax breaks. You guys get.
Right. Is that it? 10 and then the remake?
Oh, Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, fuck. What can you take from there?
Freddy.
I don't want Freddy again in my fucking movie. No,
you take the actor. You use him as Crazy Ralph. Come on.
Yeah, it was a good one. I'm not going to steal it, though. But I'll come up with... Who else is in that movie? Freddy vs. Jason. Oh, well, you can't ever go wrong with what's her name?
Destiny's Child. Kelly Rowland.
Oh, shit. No, Catherine Isabel. Can't go wrong
that's
with
right,
Catherine.
yeah.
Yeah, man,
Yep.
she could be in any horror movie I make. So yeah, so
Another Canadian.
another
Yeah.
Canadian. Oh, Canada. Yeah.
Oh, Black Phillip.
We were going to change the national anthem to that, by the way. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Oh, Black Phillip.
Bam,
Bam, bam.
Am a lamb. Oh, Black Phillip, stay away from my bleached asshole. Okay, the remake, that's what's left. I will just have to grab they're all hot. I would have taken your...
Yeah.
But just to get another hot girl in there, I'll pick the other one. Willa Ford. She could be in my movie any day.
I liked her kill in that movie.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
probably one of the best kills.
Yeah, that was the machete through the thing, through the
Yep.
through the
dock.
deck, the dock. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, the dock.
The CG turned me off on that scene. I didn't like the way the CG looked. That was my problem with that.
I liked your guys' answers. Unfortunately, I just don't feel comfortable enough with the franchise to have done a serious answer like that. But at some point, maybe I will. I really need to revisit the earlier ones.
Oh, I'll be telling you, like, I'll tell you right now, if I had the choice to do it, I don't even know if we discussed this on the show, but if this was like a game using pieces of all the other franchises, but if I had a remake, I would love to use, like, I already have, like, I think Naomi Watts would be a great Pamela Voorhees. She's hovering around the 50-year mark right now. I think she'd be great. Like, if no makeup on, I think she'd be perfect. And then I don't know if you guys watch Shameless.
How about Pamela Anderson, so she doesn't have to change her name?
Yes! I love Pamela Anderson. And how old is she now? They could do
Probably around 50.
Was she going to kill everybody with Hep C? What the hell's going on here? I don't...
Oh! Man. Yeah, I don't know.
I think she's
just
cured
want
of
to see
that, by the
Pam.
way, actually. So
You think she's what?
I think they announced that she was free of that now or something like that. I didn't know you could be, but I think that's something.
It's like It Follows. You have to pass it on
Yeah.
to someone else.
So Tommy Lee's got it now. Yeah.
And then keep walking.
Man, she's hot. She's my favorite girl of all time. Isn't that strange? Coming from me?
Canadian.
Yeah.
Pamela Anderson, like straight up, when she was in her heyday, even before she got the implants, she was hot. But I was always into her. But yeah, I'll get off of that now. So yeah,
All joking aside with this question, though, I do plan on at some point in the near future having a Friday marathon, and I will come back to this question.
we're gonna do something. I think eventually. I know we're not.
I have to. No, we have to because honestly, I'm not a Friday virgin by any means, but compared to you guys, I need my cherry popped.
Yeah, hard.
Okay, first Black Phillip popped it, and now.
And by cherry, I mean butthole, and by hard, I mean your penis. Okay.
Oh, next question.
Edit.
Yes. Okay. Next letter. Next email.
Next letter.
I don't know. Letter.
Next parchment.
Derek B. Yes.
Bougier.
Yeah. All right. Hey guys, Derek here. Really loving the show. Love your guys' interactions with each other, and the chemistry is wicked awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome.
One day for one of the special episodes, hope you guys do an Asian horror show. My question to you is, if someone was interested in Asian horror, what film would you recommend them? Well, you know I want to do Asian horror. That goes without saying.
It's a must. It has to be done.
Right?
I thought it was called Oriental horror.
No?
You might be right.
Kidding.
You might be right. So sorry.
It's miso soup, sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
Oh god. Here we go.
Isn't this what somebody was just saying about the race talk?
Literally.
We're right back in it. Travis said that. Yeah, we're right back in. The shallow end. Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to answer the question on what film would I recommend. I would honestly just start off with Shudder. That's a good one, I think. It's not over, it's not like saying start with The Ring or The Grudge and being obvious about it, I mean, I'm into the ghostly ones, so that's a good one. So I would say Shudder. That's a good introduction.
Well, if we can't be obvious about it, then I guess I'll go with Battle Royale. If they consider that horror movie, though.
Yeah, that's considered horror.
Oh, it's great. Are you kidding me? I love that movie. I thought about that, but I just decided Shudder was more of for some reason, a good jump off. But yeah, you can never go wrong with Battle Royale. I love that movie. That's when I hope
Royale.
they cover.
I'm just kidding.
Royale, yes. Yes. That's the one I think when we do the Asian show, that's what we should cover, is Battle Royale and something else.
Really?
Yeah, why not? Any chance to talk about that? Why not? You know? Like, you don't want to talk about it?
No, I mean, I would. I just didn't think you would pick that.
We can each bring one to the table. That's how we'll do it. It'll be a show. We each pick one. And I'll make my pick now. Battle Royale. You guys pick movies and we'll do it.
I would probably recommend Tale of Two Sisters.
Oh, yes. Can't go wrong there, man.
Haven't seen it. You recommended it. I have it. Haven't watched it yet.
I mean, there's so many great. Oh, did we say Asian horror or Japanese horror in particular? Just Asian horror.
I think you said just Asian, yeah.
Yeah. There's so much good Asian horror. So I think, honestly, going with the more well-known ones is probably the best way to start if somebody's not into it. Because while they're the more popular, more mainstream ones, they're still a little bit more abstract because that's their style. And if you get into some of these, crazier films, like if you were to watch House from 1977, that could turn you off from it because you'd just be like, what the fuck did I just watch? I'm never watching another Asian film again.
Yeah, or any Miike stuff.
Yeah.
See, A Tale of Two Sisters is pretty artsy, though, and it does have that ambiguous ending that might confuse.
You know what, though? I feel like that's most Asian horror.
That's true. But, I mean, some of the Ghostlies are more straightforward, where you just get that twist at the end where it's explained, and then it's over with, but
I mean, you
couldn't
tell somebody The Grudge the first... I mean, I watched The Grudge a dozen times, and it finally made sense to me when we did it for the 2002 show.
Right. Yeah. I hear you. That whole series. I hear you. It's tough. But they're all great movies, either way,
Maybe The Eye or Dark Water.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe those. Okay, one last question. Email. Kemp Collins. What's your guys' favorite film from the following countries? Italy, Japan. There's Japan. There you go. England and Australia. So Italy. What's your favorite? Mine's easy. It's obviously Suspiria. I mean, I can't go against Suspiria. So.
I was gonna say Tenebrae for me.
And mine's not so easy because I love a lot of Argento films, and I decided to go off of that, and I picked Demons.
Wow, nice.
I'm assuming that he wants horror films, right? Because if it wasn't horror films, I'd also pick Life is Beautiful. It's a great Italian film.
I'd pick Cinema Paradiso. I fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm assuming he wants horror.
Yeah. We'll stick with horror, of course. Yep. So, Tenebrae, Demons, Suspiria. Can't go wrong with any of those. All right. So what's next after Italy?
Japan.
I just said what my top... I didn't say what my top two. I said what my one top was. I said that Battle Royale and Ju-on the Grudge.
Those are exactly what I have. Yeah.
Really?
Exactly, Ju-on and Battle Royale. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Wow, you're with me on that. That's awesome. Oh, we're definitely doing Battle Royale. Holy shit.
Only if you call it Battle Royale the whole time.
Royale. Johnny Royale.
The only reason why I was skeptical about Battle Royale is you know how many characters are in that film, and you with the names.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
He does have a point.
I don't know what my favorite Japanese film is. I love Japanese film. Okay. You know what's here's a really good one that I feel like people don't talk enough about. Reincarnation.
I haven't seen the whole thing.
It's really good. It's not the best, but it's really good. Was it part of like the After Dark Horror Fest, or it might have been part of that?
I'm gonna say no, but I could be wrong.
I'm gonna say no.
And for some reason, that's not ringing a bell, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you might not be wrong, but
right, I might not, and I might.
but I remember.
It's one of two things.
Yeah, my guess is you're either wrong or you're not.
Okay, good. I can back you up on that. So, what's your pick? Is that your pick?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna go with reincarnation.
Okay, cool. All right, move along.
Hey,
England.
it's from the people who did the Grudge. It's from Shimizu.
Yes, it is.
So.
Yep, good old Shimizu. Yep.
Shimizu.
England. It's tough. There's a lot.
England's tough because some of these films, like you're like, oh, that qualifies as a British film.
Well, some have dual. If you look at it, it'll say country of origin. And it'll say USA, UK, or vice versa.
Yeah, some say USA, UK, Italy, and I'm like, if that's the case, it's a no-brainer for me, and it's Don't Look Now.
I was having a little bit of trouble with it because, like, a lot of them that I clicked on, I looked at it and I was like, what's this doing here? And then I found it seems like everything from the UK. I've never gotten into the Hammer movies. I'm not saying I'm never going to, but at this point I haven't. And other movies don't count. Like The Shining, that doesn't count. And they're listed because they're dual. American Werewolf in London, The Omen. These movies like this are on this list I'm looking at, but I don't think that qualifies. Even The Witch is there, and I'm like, I don't think that counts. But when I look at the list, I see 28 Days Later, I see The Descent, and I'm like, well, those count. Off the top of my head, just because of that, I guess I would say Christian's favorite movie, The Descent.
And I picked Shaun of the Dead.
I thought about Shaun of the Dead. That's a good call.
I wanted Hellraiser. I thought of Hellraiser too, but but Hellraiser, I know it's Clive, and I know it's like, but I still think it's considered an American release. But maybe I'm wrong with that. Don't quote me on that. But I still pick Shaun of the Dead over that. Shockingly enough,
I really like Shaun of the Dead as well. I think it's the perfect horror comedy. I don't know if I've said that on the show or not, but
I think you did.
Okay, I'm repeating myself. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. Hellraiser, you would think it would count because everybody's in it is fucking British, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just about. And it's Clive and everything else, and yeah, country of origin, United Kingdom. Oh, IMDb. Thank you. I changed my pick to Hellraiser.
There you go.
Yeah. Thank you. You found a way. Good. It sounds better than The Descent. I like The Descent, but it's not a bona fide. It's not Hellraiser. I really enjoy it. It's probably one of the best movies of the.
Take that, Jason Lloyd. I'm just kidding.
No, it's a great movie. It's for something. Modern movies, there's very few that I put in the same realm as I put in like the classics from the 80s and 70s. Even no matter how good they are, I have trouble putting them in that category. Is it just me, or you guys feel the same way?
I don't know about that. I go back to The Descent. I'm hooked on that movie. I do have to watch it again. I will tell you that. I do have to watch it again. But am I the only one that thought the creatures looked like ghoulies? Like really like ghoulies ripoffs?
Ghoulies?
Yeah, ghoulies like that haven't gone to college. Like those type.
They're way too big.
Yeah, but they look like they got ghoulies.
So maybe they
faces.
graduated college.
Yeah.
They hit a growth spurt in college.
Mongoloid ghoulies that haven't gone to college.
They look too demonic to me to be ghoulies. I don't know.
Ghoulies.
We'll do that movie too. We're gonna have to cover that movie.
We'll do that on episode 800.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
I know.
2037.
We get so many ideas per show, but I guess that's a good thing. So do we? Where are we at now? It was UK. Did you pick one, Brandon?
Don't Look Now, if it counts.
Now, yeah, it counts. Okay, and the final country is Australia.
Yeah.
Razorback. No, I'm just kidding. That's not my favorite.
Australia's weird. They just come and they don't have any spurts. Have you noticed that? Like Australian movies are just randomly placed here and there. Not a lot, but they're just there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting.
My film doesn't necessarily. I don't know if it's considered horror or not. What?
What the fuck? I pressed a button.
What the hell was that?
I pressed this button by accident on my phone and it said really fast, Horror Movie Australia.
Oh, okay.
It was in my Google because I
actually thought that was me talking. I'm like, what the hell? Did I sound like that?
Horror Movie Australia.
Horror Movie Australia.
Real fast. I'm going to try it again. I don't know why you did that. That's good. I don't even know how I caused that to happen. That's funny. Oh well. So horror movies Australia. Did you have one picked?
I did. I'm afraid to say it now.
What? Afraid to say it.
Yeah, after that voice.
Horror movie Australia. That was.
I picked the Picnic at Hanging Rock.
Oh, you do love that movie.
Love that movie. That movie just terrifies me, and it's really not a traditional horror film. It's really more of a mystery, sci-fi drama. But it'll pop up under the horror moniker, so I always recommend it. It really freaked me out the first time I saw it.
I gotta watch that.
There's something very intriguing about it. It's not for everyone. It's just something that intrigues me about that film.
Nice.
It's haunting.
Well, we're watching it then. We're doing that too. We're covering that. The Descent, Hanging Rock, and one other random movie. Then we'll just do.
We're doing a rock show and a picnic show.
A picnic show. Oh fuck. So I'm not as familiar as I should be with all the Australian horror, but when I look at the list here, the one that sticks out is recent, and it's The Loved Ones.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
I really like it.
That was my choice. I mean, Wolf Creek is the other one or two, but The Loved Ones is what I actually chose as mine.
And the funny thing is, I've only seen The Loved Ones one time, and I have to watch it again, but man, that was good stuff. The Babadook, that's Australian, isn't it?
Yes.
I really like that too. Well, that's another one we'll throw out there.
Not as good as The Loved Ones.
Duck.
Duck. What do you say, Christian? Not as good as what? Not as good as Loved Ones, you think?
I said, yeah, not as good as The Loved Ones. Yeah.
Those are two movies I have to watch again. I'm going to have to watch them again. That's our Aussie show. That's how we'll do it. Babadook and Loved Ones.
Duck.
Okay, guys. Email is done. So put a fork in it. Yes. Keep sending them, though. Keep sending them. Yes, thank you. Exploding Heads Horror Podcast at gmail.com. Send some more. And we have some here, like I said, we're going to address them on the next show because they were too long. But they will be addressed. Every email will be addressed, so send them in. We also asked about iTunes reviews, and we read one last show. And we have some more, and some people listened because we have more ratings and we have more reviews. I just wanted to point that out. That thanks, guys,
awesome.
Because I think we needed 10 to get noticed or something, and I think we might have 15 now. Let me double check.
We're really getting noticed.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna read just the two latest we got. I'll try to read like one each show from now on because the people that did it earlier didn't get theirs read. But I'm gonna read these two now because they came as a result of show 10. So yeah, we have 15 ratings now, all 5-star. So that's pretty sweet. Yes, here's the last two we got. One was for May 11th. Myron Schmidt. Great show. New listener, but really enjoying the show. Started with the Top 40 show and really enjoyed it. Looking forward to future shows. Yeah, see? So
nice.
So the new show did bring some new listeners in, so hope you guys stuck with us. DLEINING. D-leaning or dleaning, I don't know. But that's what it is. May 12th. All the right stuff. The Exploding Heads crew are hilarious. Their hosts are knowledgeable and provide both depth and breadth in their discussion of horror cinema. A nice mix of fan appreciation and criticism. Keep it up.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
They haven't heard my Exorcist faux pas yet.
Oh, that's right. That was funny. And I was just as bad. But yes, iTunes, thanks, guys.
I knew it all along.
Yeah, you're the king. I know. Go on to iTunes. Please get on there. It only takes a minute. Just give us a rating, preferably 5-star, but whatever. That and anyone who writes in is automatically entered into our giveaways. So when we have 10, we can start one. We have 9 now, so what are you waiting for? Do it. So thank you. But thanks, everybody. And join the Facebook group. Again, it's real easy. Just type in Exploding Heads Horror Podcast on your Facebook, and there we are. Click join, we'll accept you, and there you have it. So, and what the hell, our Twitter is at EH Horror Podcast. So, okay, now we're going to go to our questions. We asked our questions in, speaking of the Facebook page, that's one reason to be there. We asked questions, and we got some responses here. So, let us see what we have here. I'm scrolling through right now. Okay, listener's choice questions. Okay. So, Mike Stewart, what are your thoughts on Aliens? No, not the not the movie, but out there. So he wants to know what we think about Aliens.
Well, I figure there are some out there somewhere.
Good answer. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'm not afraid of them. I'm not worried that they're anally probing people in the Midwest to find out more about a civilization. I don't believe any of that's necessarily happening, but I do believe that if we exist, that there's got to be some other life forms beyond.
Wait, you're not afraid of them? So if a ship lands in your backyard,
If I open the door and there's a ship in the sky, I'd be shitting bricks. Okay. But I'm not worried about seeing that tomorrow.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I thought you were basically saying if you saw a spaceship land, you would just like walk right up to it without any trepidation. Just
I'd be like, I walk up and go, "You're one ugly motherfucker."
Oh man. Okay, aliens. I'll tell you what. I am afraid of them to a degree, but I'm fascinated just as equally. So I don't know if they're real. I kind of think I saw something once, but I don't know. I just I'm kind of fascinated with them actually, and I like movies that can scare me, like Independence Day in the beginning. And I think about if that shit happened, and I'm fascinated. With
Independence Day scared you?
The Independence Day. Yeah, when they attacked the fucking the first act of Independence Day is great.
Americans.
It's another one. Oh, the first act was badass, man, because they had cruel intentions. I mean, that's good shit.
The first act is good. No, I admittedly I like that part too, but too many bad jokes bogged down that movie.
Yes, they do. The third act I could care less about. I just But the first act is scary, and they're fucking attacking, and that part when the lady's all excited, we're here! They got their signs and all, and then boom, they fucking blast them. That's fucking scary.
Well, like, I would think you'd be saying, like, Fire in the Sky, The Fourth Kind. Those are the movies that would freak me out about aliens.
Yeah, The Fourth Kind was creepy as hell.
You're like, I'm really scared of aliens. The Independence Day. I'm like, what? Like, it just seemed like the weirdest reference.
Yeah, dude, they attack. They come down in ships and fucking start blasting shit.
How about Mars Attack?
Yeah.
That movie terrified me.
That movie's fun. Okay. Yeah. I know what you're saying about the other stuff, The Fourth Kind and Fire in the Sky. That stuff is scary, but, like Extraterrestrial, they did it well, too. They did it well. The aliens came, there was issues. I don't know, what's that? Cheat?
E.T.?
E.T., well, yeah, I love E.T. Shit, it's one of my favorite movies. Yeah. But yeah, aliens, I think they could be, in there, out there, whatever the fuck, in there. Yeah, I gotta
In
go.
there. In where?
Oh, they could be in there.
Where are you keeping them?
Right beside the gerbil. Oh!
Inside the gerbil, inside me.
So, Brandon, what do you think about them?
Yeah, I'd like to believe they're out there. And if a spaceship landed in my backyard, I would gladly go outside, get on them, and be like, get me the hell out of here.
You wouldn't even hesitate, huh?
Probably not.
You're like, fuck it, it can't be any worse than what's going on here.
Yeah, I have very little fear left.
Oh, nice. That's why you're hanging out with Blake Phillip.
Yeah.
Okay, now, let's do an alien show.
Well, I wonder if that was in response to, I read something that President Obama was going to, unveil, Area 51 secrets, on his last day in office.
Yeah. Is that true? Is that really a story?
I doubt it's true.
See, I'm fucked up. That's what I'm saying about how I'm fascinated. When I see shit like that, I get excited. But I'm afraid to get excited because I don't want to get my hopes up, Well,
I got excited when I saw it too. I'm like, oh, this would be awesome. But then somebody wrote, this can't be true. Then somebody else wrote they would assassinate him before he ever let out secrets.
Yeah, there's been all kinds of talk because I guess one of them, Clinton, I think, said that they were going to say something if they got in or before. I don't know, some shit like that. I'm not even sure what the story was, but
I wonder if that question probably came from that, is my guess.
There's talk going around, so I'm happy with it, so we'll see.
Yeah. If there are aliens, I hope they're like Paul. Did you guys ever see the movie Paul with Simon Pegg?
I remember the previews, and I avoided the movie.
Oh, why? It's a fun movie.
Maybe I'll check it out now. No, maybe I will check it out now.
Yeah, maybe you will, maybe you won't.
Seal of approval?
It has my official seal of approval.
It's got your Friday
All right.
7 seal of approval.
Oh man.
Oh. All right, next question. Brandon DeWitt. In response to a post I made the other day about the Halloween franchise,
Fucking Brandon.
why is Halloween Resurrection the best movie in the franchise?
This guy's a twit. Is this guy for real? Is it for real, or is he just trying to?
No,
he's egging us on. He's got to be
I
egging us
don't
on,
know.
right?
He
No,
might
he
love
is.
it.
No. If
Nice.
if it's his favorite in the series, he's a twit. Enough said.
No, he's cool. He's messing.
Oh, is he?
Okay.
Okay.
Probably the
well,
most
then,
overrated
then you're not a
franchise.
twit.
Well, there was another Brandon that loved it, Halloween Resurrection, and he'd gotten. Here's the fucked up shit. He just passed away like a few weeks ago, and he was on the Skeleton Crew page. His name was Brandon Lee, and he was on the Skeleton Crew page, and this and that. He I think he emailed the show or something or other, and there was interaction. It got real crazy. He was really big into fucking Halloween Resurrection. Like, he's known for it. He's fucking, that's all he talked about. And
What
he
the
knew me.
fuck?
I hate it like fucking, everyone else does. Probably more than everybody else. But I think sometimes.
It's the worst one in the series. Oh, by far, it's the absolute bottom of the barrel.
It sucks. I know some people that think 5 is worse, but whatever.
No.
To me, yes, it is the worst. They're both terrible fucking movies.
Five
Bottom
at least has some great standout sequences. He just screws the pooch on a lot of the other stuff. Bad kills, not enough blood, crying Michael Myers with barely any burn on his face, the cop out like cliffhanger ending of what happened after part 4, the continuation, the hermit
Awful.
scene that just kept him there for a year, like a lot of stupid shit. But then there's like that whole sequence where he's gunning them down through that the little tree thing, and driving the sports car, and he hits the tree and the horn. I like some sequences in that movie.
Really?
Some,
Not me.
but it's yeah. I think it's also because I snuck in, saw it with a girl. Didn't have big tits, but I saw it with a girl, and we were both not 18. But again, it was rated R, and in Canada that meant something.
She didn't have big tits, but she had a big wiener, big fleshy meat hog.
Curtains.
A curtain
perfect.
show.
Yes, perfect.
That could
for
be on
Canada.
our genital show.
And I have a feeling that's the reason I enjoyed it, because I snuck in forbidden fruit, right?
Yeah, man.
Resurrection has a lot of actors and actresses who went on to do successful things. So it just seems like such a waste for it to be such a bad movie didn't have a terrible cast. Just the writing for it was horrible.
It's fucking terrible. The whole movie's existence is a shame. Fucking that it's the worst cheat ever. It's the worst cheat to say the H2O.
I wonder if you put these characters in a different Halloween movie,
The found footage shit.
except for Busta Rhymes' character.
And the way it was set up like a found footage show, and Busta Rhymes was fucking horrendous.
Oh,
Yeah,
he was
that-
horrible.
yeah,
Tara
yeah,
Banks
dude.
was horrible. The kills were horrible. Maybe the opening is the only slightly redeeming factor of that movie.
The opening was actually really good because I really loved what was his name? I can't remember.
Guy in jail, the fucking
the
serial
mental
killer
patient
expert.
who was like basically reminded everyone of like John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I did like that little piece. And I'm wondering who directed what, because if you remember, and again, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I think Steve Miner was attached to it at one point, maybe even started, then either quit or was let go. And then the dude that directed part 2 came in. So I was really excited because I love Halloween 2.
Right.
And then it
Rosenthal.
was a
Right.
shit show.
Yes, it was. And you're
Yeah, it
right.
went down fast.
I wouldn't doubt it if the beginning was directed by fucking Steve Miner. Because he did H2O, So maybe that was it. I don't know. But the only redeeming thing is when they killed off Laurie. It was executed well. It was a good finish. But I can't say I like the first 10 minutes or I like the beginning, because what's the main thing about that beginning? The fucking right away, the worst cheat ever. So that discredits everything to me. That's
That's
I was mad. I went to the movies to see that. I don't know why I was excited, because I knew that he was. I always said that's the best ending ever to a fucking villain in a franchise, and that was it. Boom, cut the guy's head off from the antagonist to the protagonist. The way it's supposed to be set up years ago. What a perfect freaking Coda. What a beautiful ending to a series. That I'm not even into that movie, but the way it ended was like fucking. Yeah. I could stand up and applaud if that, and it should have ended that way and stayed that way. And then I went to the movies to see Resurrection the day it came out, and I was fucking just pissed. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's terrible, man, terrible. I don't know.
Yeah. So I hope he's kidding.
Yeah, if he's not, sorry, buddy. Sorry about it. Okay, Stephen Carpenter, I got a question. Do you guys play video games at all? If so, are there any horror-related games you really love? I'm a big fan of Outlast, Dead Space games, Resident Evil 4. Also, are you guys aware there is a new Friday the 13th video game coming out this October? We all know about that game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay.
All the Resident Evils, up to 6. 6 had some disappointments. 4 and 5 are definitely a couple of the standouts. They're more action-oriented. So I do like the original 3 that were more scare-oriented. Silent Hill, of course. Fatal Frame, if you haven't played Fatal Frame or any of those series, that's like right out of a Japanese horror movie. Fatal Frame. Fantastic. It's like you have to use like a camera.
The camera game?
Oh, yeah.
I've played that.
And Dead Space is great. Dead Space is great. Pretty much a ripoff of the Resident Evil Solid Space, but fantastic. And so, yeah, Silent Hill is the other real standout franchise.
Yeah. Silent Hill 2 is a great game.
Silent Hill 2 is probably the classic, and Resident Evil 2, for that matter, was the first game, but so much bigger. And so a lot of people consider that like the classic or the standout of that series before 4 came and divided the fan base, saying it was either the best of the series or it got rid of the scares and went more action oriented.
How about Candy Crush?
Scary how addictive it is for people, but
oh, fuck that game.
I can't wait for the Friday game though. Cannot wait.
I'm not excited about it because you have to play online with other people. You can't just sit down and buy the game and play it. That's what bothers me about it. I might not even buy it. I have no desire to fucking play online with people. I want to sit down. But here's what I'm playing. Okay, to answer the question, I'm not a big gamer anymore. Used to be a while ago. Most of what I played was with my family and my daughter, or whatever. But my wife did buy me one game, and it was Until Dawn, and that's a lot of fun. That's a great game. If you haven't played that, you should. If you have a system that carries it, because it's a slasher movie where you make the decisions for the characters. So it's really cool.
I was still under the impression that you can still play. You just pick your character, and then the rest of it would be like computer AI. If you were to play a single campaign or by yourself, but if you have to always be online, yeah, I can see the frustration there because then you've got to buy your $60 a year pack on top of the game,
right?
And everything else. So
yeah, that's why I'm not into gaming anymore. It's too interactive. I prefer to play with myself.
No, even if you're joking, I hear you. I wasn't.
No, I'm being honest. Like I said that in a crude manner, intentionally, but I just never got into this new gaming. I don't own any systems anymore. But back in the day, Nintendo, even Atari, I remember Atari, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox. But I didn't get into, now the, whatever, PlayStation 50 and Xbox 40.
Oh, get out of here. I know what Brandon did just now. He's never played at a game in his life. He just Googled video game systems. He's naming every one off that he sees.
Oh no, I was very big. I was very big into Nintendo.
No, that's just what it sounded like you were doing. You were just naming system after system. Yeah, I like playing games. I played this. It was just the system. It was just funny.
No, I loved Excite Bike.
And yes,
Russian Attack.
Yeah, man, I love all those games.
Rygar.
Yeah. I'm with you. Great games.
There was a game called Russian Attack.
Yeah, RUSH, the letter N, and then attack. Attack.
One of the hardest games ever.
It was kind of like Contra. It's a side-scrolling fucking jumping up and down army fighting game.
Yeah, but you only had like a few lives. There was no cheat to get 50 lives, and if you died, you started back at the beginning.
Yep.
The iPad, both seasons of The Walking Dead, those are great. They're more story oriented. So you do a swipe here, you pick a line to say. So it's all based on how you interact with the game, determines what route you take and how the game will finish and end. And it's you either going to like that style or not like it, but love both seasons of that so far. And there's a couple of great scary games that you can get on that. Talk about Contra. The whole Contra game is you can play on your iPad, side-scrolling for free. It was awesome.
Wow, that is cool. I like the decision-making thing. They remind Until Dawn is the same type of thing. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, check out Walking Dead. You can get like most of them for like you don't even have to get a system. You can get them for your computer now. Season 1, 2, and I think an official season 3 is coming out. But right now they're on the side story. And what you do is you have to buy like there's typically 5 chapters, and they all cost like about $5.50 each. So then they'll do a package that you can get them for like $20 or something like that, the whole game. But it's worth it, well worth it. I normally don't, like normally I just play the free games and I never buy any of the add-on shit because I don't need to. But for this, you actually do have to purchase the game and it's definitely worth it.
You know, I don't like the way they look. When every time I see like a game advertised that you play on your phone or your iPad, something about the look of it I don't like. You know? But hearing what you said about The Walking Dead makes me want to play it now because it's like you said, like Until Dawn. Your decisions, impact what's going to happen in the story. I dig that. That's fun.
Oh, I remember I bought every installment ahead of time, but you had to wait until they released them. And I remember having finished Chapter 4 and waiting for Chapter 5. They actually put a teaser out for Chapter 5 that I actually watched, and I remember getting goosebumps. And I remember playing that teaser like 5 or 6 times and just saying, this is the best thing I've ever seen ever. For just a teaser for the 5th chapter of this game, of the second season. And,
wow.
And it was that cool, and I was that into it. So, anyway.
Wow, that's cool. What about, have you played Until Dawn or no?
No, I don't know if it's for, I still only have a PlayStation 3, so like the PlayStation 4, the catalyst for me to get that was going to be this Friday the 13th game.
There you go.
And Uncharted 4 and a couple of other ones, but I don't know if Until Dawn's available for that or just the Xbox One. So I've got to, because I heard of that game too, and that would definitely interest me.
Get it, man, if you can. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Okay.
So, okay, next question. Do you think Clive Barker, this is from the Ram Man, do you think that Clive Barker's Nightbreed would work as a TV show? I'm going to jump in and say something right now. Initially looking at it, I would think no, because you're seeing too much of the monsters and the backstories, and it would end up being like that show Monsters from back in the day. But nowadays, this is what I've learned. I've learned to give every horror television show, concept, whatever, give it a chance, because a lot of times it's not what you're expecting, and there's so many places they can go with it. So based upon the success of a lot of other shows I've seen, I would say, yeah, I'd like to see it tried. Sure.
I think with like where TV's gone, I think it would be hugely successful. You'd think of it like you could really flesh out that story with the David Cronenberg character, Zipperface or whatever we're gonna call him.
Oh, Decker.
Yeah.
Decker.
Oh, and then
AKA Zipperface.
Zipperface. Yeah.
Nice.
And like that whole thing, I think it would actually be very, very cool as a TV show.
Yeah, I agree.
We're all on board. Somebody sign it up. Nightbreed. Somebody start casting out there. I know we got a lot of Hollywood types listening to us. So, okay. Neil says, "I never know what to ask." That was his response about asking questions. Well, Neil, we never know how to answer. So, what the hell?
Best all question right. Of the
night. And the best answer. BC, our old buddy, Bill Casanelli. Now, I don't know if this is going to apply to everybody here, but okay. To each of you, Krispy Kreme, Dunkin' Donuts, or Tim Hortons? First and foremost, does everybody have all 3 in their area?
Who the hell is Tim Horton?
Tim Horton.
Oh,
yeah.
You're missing out, buddy.
You suck. Canadian chain, my friend, and it's Tim Hortons all the way, man.
Yes, it is. Dude, Tim Horton, I'll tell you something. Krispy Kreme. Before I moved to Vegas, it was right after I moved, we had a couple Tim Hortons. We knew of them in Canada. We had a couple. In the area, we had like 3 or 4. And we had some Starbucks, and we had Dunkin's. We had a bunch. Now, I moved away to Vegas in 2000, and I remember hearing that Krispy Kreme was coming to Buffalo, and it was a big deal. Like, I wasn't here for it, but I think it was like 2002 or something. They said that there was a line down the street. They had to have cops here because traffic was fucked up with because of the Krispy Kreme phenomenon when they first got here. It blew up. Well, listen to this one. It is now 2016, 14 years later. There is not a Krispy Kreme to be found, and there is a Tim Hortons every fucking 4 or 5 blocks. They just came in and fucking destroyed. There are just as many Tim Hortons in Buffalo in my area than there is. There's probably more here than there is where Christian's from. I'd venture to say that's how many there are.
I don't know if there's more, but there's Tim Hortons is like you got them at every corner here. Tim Hortons is a huge Canadian chain, but it's been bought out by Burger King. So the fact that it's been bought out by Burger King has further expanded them. Oh yeah.
I thought no. I thought Tim Hortons bought Burger King.
Why am I getting cold? Why am I getting Cold Stone popping up when I type Tim Hortons?
That's it. They're associated with them out here.
Yeah, they're
inside restaurants and shit. They're inside grocery stores. They are fucking everywhere.
All right, I actually have a Tim Hortons nearby me. I've actually heard of them, but I've never actually had their donuts. So.
Do you drink coffee?
No.
Oh, well, it's all about the coffee as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the donuts are fine. The food actually is no big deal at all, but it's all about the coffee. I mean,
I'm all about donuts.
I mean, the donuts are good. Don't get me wrong. Christian, what do you say?
Yeah, the donuts are fun. The big thing was Timbits, which, funny enough, like Burger King wanted to get rid of, and like, well, that's you're taking the whole fucking. The reason, the coffee's great, but you go to Tim Hortons, you get some Timbits, you get a fucking coffee. Take the Timbits away, it's no fucking different than anything else. The same thing happened with Krispy Kreme in Canada as what you said happened in Buffalo. So they came, people were going fucking crazy. As Chris Rock said, if I told you that there was crack in there, you'd be like, I knew there'd be something. Because people were going nuts for these things, and I had them, and they're really sweet. Now you can get them. Yeah. What they've done is they put them in like grocery stores now. Yeah. So you can pick up some Krispy Kreme, but we don't have Krispy Kreme stores, like standalone stores. They came and they went fast.
Yeah. I'm surprised they came there at all with Tim's being there.
Yeah, but I think that's what happened. Tim's just
Timmy?
Went, fuck you.
You're on a first name basis now?
Yeah. Timmy.
Oh, everybody out here calls them Tims or Timmys.
Timmy's.
Or TH.
Yeah.
No, we never call it TH. It's never been, not once in the history of its being, has it been called TH.
How about
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. No TH.
How about Horts?
Yeah.
Horts?
He wants to start a clay thing here. Let's go to Horts.
I'm making my own thing. I'm at the Dunkin' every day.
Dude, it's so Canadian that Tim Horton was a hockey player. That's how this place even exists. So, it's fucking all about Canada.
I gotta go with Dunkin' since I'm at Dunkin' pretty much every single day.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay. But you should go over to Tim's, get a dick donut. Behind the... Suck a dick who?
Behind the Dunkin'.
Yeah, I'm behind the Dunkin'. Yeah, I don't go in.
Go to Tim's, man. Go check it out. That's all I can say. You can compare them, the donuts. But I will say one thing about Krispy Kreme. Their hot glazed donut is amazing. It's got to be hot. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
With the hot jizzy cream sauce.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It gets all over your face, man.
Oh, man. So good. And then you let it harden.
Why wipe it off?
I wipe it off when it could just stay there.
Yeah. It's fun to give glazed donuts. That's for sure. Okay. Now we have Sean. What are some of your favorite movies that aren't horror?
Oh, God. They could go on. They could be another 4-hour show just on this question.
Yeah. Top of your head.
Okay. Rear Window, Blowout, Back to the Future, Empire Strikes Back, and Raiders of the Lost Ark. And that's leaving out Scarface, Pulp Fiction, Vertigo, and Trainspotting. Like, there's so many movies. There's I think 9 or 10 I just listed.
Yeah, fair enough. Natural Born Killers. I'm not doing comedies because we have a question later about comedies. So, Natural Born Killers, Godfather, Goodfellas. Yeah, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I don't know, just tons. All the Star Wars, all the fucking Harry Potters. Yeah, I could go on, but I won't.
Nice. Yeah, I would go with like Annie Hall, Harold and Maude, High Fidelity, Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Nice, interesting.
I'm not into action films as much as you guys are.
Not me. I don't like them at all. I'm not in any action film.
And I gotta be honest, my least favorite subgenre of film, and they're great films, don't get me wrong. I've seen every single one with the exception of maybe one or two. and I own most of them, and I love them, and they're great. But it's very rare that I'm in the mood to sit down and watch them. Mafia movies. I'm just not into mob films. It just never appealed to me.
Yeah,
I
love
watched The Sopranos. I've seen The Godfathers a million times. I've seen Casino a million times. I've seen Goodfellas a million times, and they're phenomenal. But I'd rather sit down and watch something like Annie Hall over and over versus something like Godfather over and over.
Yeah, hey, different
Just the type
strokes,
of-
man.
Yeah.
Different strokes. I'm Italian. Of course, I love those fucking movies. I relate to them. You know.
Sauce or gravy?
It's not gravy.
I relate to them. Hey, get this guy a fucking
Relate to
pair
him.
of cement
Hey,
shoes. Hey, Tony,
It's an arm. It's a wing.
go home and get your shine box.
Oh shit! Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Fight Club. That's another one I love. Man, I could go on. I won't. And these are just. I wasn't looking at my movie collection. I just was staring off at the wall, just picking them out. I could turn around and say, "Hey, what am I?" That was just off the top of my head, you know. So-
Beethoven and Beethoven's second.
Oh yeah, the dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
any dog movie. Marmaduke.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's
love
all there
Marmaduke.
is. I don't know Marmaduke that much. Not the movie, anyway. Okay, Jerry V. What do you guys think of snuff movies and those types of movies in general?
I stopped making them years ago. Getting too risky.
Jerry V loves those toe tag movies and shit like that. That's his
You know,
gimmick.
You know what? It was never my thing. I think
No, me neither.
I think what I can appreciate it for is that the special effects and gore, especially in those August Underground films, is so realistic. It's disturbing. But I need a story. I need more of a story.
Yeah, I would rather just see the death scenes one after another with no plot at all. Than
Yeah,
someone try
I-
to have a plot that sucks. Or is
I get
boring.
what you're saying because they're putting very minimal plot in, and it's like just showcase your special effects talents.
Right,
but
it's
at the
like
same-
watching a porno.
But at the same time, I did check out one of the other toe tag films, and it was really good because it was more story oriented. And I still have to check out Red Sin Tower, which everybody always raves about. But I checked out Cella Turcica, which everyone always talks highly of. But in terms of snuff films, it was never my thing. I'm not a huge gore hound.
I am a gorehound, but I'd rather not watch that stuff because I don't want to deal with the boring stories that I've seen. I'm just not into it. You know, like Headless is as low as I'll go, but I enjoy Headless for other reasons too. But from what I've seen with August Underground and other things, they're just not. They just don't resonate with me. So it's like watching a porno. Who the fuck watches a porno with dialogue? People fast forward. I mean, it's a different world now, but I'm talking in the past. Just get right to the action. I don't need to see all that fucking shit. It's like, why would you watch that stuff when there's much better movies to watch? And so that's kind of the way I feel.
I will
Just give
say
me the bunny shit.
that artsploitation film, House with 100 Eyes,
Oh yeah, good stuff.
that was actually a pretty good sort of snuffish film.
Yeah, that's a found footage though. That's a story. I was okay with that story.
Yeah, because it had a good story to it, but it was done, sort of snuff style, found footage.
Mhm.
It looked, grimy.
Exactly.
I thought he was talking about like Faces of Death or like actual real death footage.
Oh,
If you're talking about that, I definitely, I can't watch that.
That
shit.
just makes me feel hollow. Like I don't like that because I don't want to see real. That's why I'm saying like some of those hardcore horror movies are not appealing to me because I want to be entertained still. I don't want to just see gore. I do want to see gore, but I need it wrapped around with some entertainment as well.
Yeah, people are always talking about watching these videos online of these beheadings and
Yuck.
these dictators being and like I can't do that. If it's in a fictionalized film, with a story and it's make believe, it's fine. But if I don't want to see if it's real.
Right. I loved it when I was a kid. Faces of Death, I was all into it. Nowadays, I don't even want to see a dead animal when I drive.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. When I was a kid, Faces of Death, we'd always look for. We'd go to video stores just looking for that. Of
Yes.
course, they never had it, but
Oh, I saw them all when I was a kid. All of them. And
I think
Death
eventually
Faces,
I saw
Traces
one of
Death,
them.
All of them.
Which
Right,
one was
yeah.
worse, Faces or Traces?
I don't remember. They were all fucking. They were all lumped into the same thing to me.
Yeah,
Death Faces or something like that, or
Death Faces was another one.
Death
Yep,
Faces
Death
2 or
Faces.
something like that. That was.
Yep.
I remember seeing that, and I was just like, oh, this is horrible. I feel just gross watching it.
Yeah, yeah.
I see. When I was young, I didn't. We were into it, but that was a long time ago. It was right in the '80s, so that was just you're a kid. Just didn't. But back then, it didn't bother me. Now, like I said, I just have no interest in seeing anything real. So that's that. Okay. Now check it out. We got two questions that you guys think they're the same thing. I'm gonna read them both. Willis,
I know which one you're talking about.
Okay, I got a question for the show. What horror movie actions that you're sick of seeing in the movies? Basically, is what it's saying. What are you sick of seeing in the movie horror actions? And then Misty from Black Annis Horror Podcast, by the way, says, "What trope annoys you the most?" Is that the same thing?
Fairly, yeah. Like what cliche? I think you could lump it together.
Right. And what do you guys have?
I'll go. I hate the cat jump out scare. Done to death. Hate it. It drives me crazy now. And anything now when they put a baby or child in jeopardy, because I feel like they're just trying to play with your emotions, because that's been done to death as well too.
They have been done to death.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm just sick of the people that don't belong, like in the group. That shit would never happen in real life. You know what I'm talking about? When you get a gang, especially kids, and you're like, why would these two people be together? And it just when they have and also when they have tokens there that don't fit in. It doesn't matter color of skin, but just the way they act and their characters act in those roles. It just that's what I'm tired of.
Yeah,
seeing.
every 6 group of friends, two are jocks, one's a brain, one's African American,
Right.
Two are female, one's a slut, and one's the virgin. It's like, come on.
Yeah, man, just
More sluts.
Yeah, just more sluts.
just nothing that's cliche anymore. Enough is enough. And here's and this one you can't escape, but you have to do it. And they always have to make the remark about the cell phone. So we know that the cell phone's dead, and they can't get fucking.
Yeah.
They have nothing going with the satellites there.
You have to, because if the phone wasn't in the movie, then people would be like, what year does this take place in?
Right, that's just the times. I know.
It ruins it. It ruins it.
I'm just sick of hearing it every fucking movie. You guys got a signal out here?
They should actually put a disclaimer at the beginning of the movie. We're not using cell phones in this movie. Nobody has a cell phone. Everybody's poor.
Right. That's why it's cool when they do it. When they do have movies without cell phone, like Get Follows, there was none of that going on there, and other movies. And I think that's the reason a lot of people like to set movies in the 80s too.
Yeah.
There's more danger to be had back then. Now with cell phones, granted, sometimes cell phones are used to our benefit. You know what I mean? In modern horror, but I just thought I'd throw that out there. That's all I really.
One of the things that struck me reading this question, and then obviously watching the movies we did, one movie in particular, is just the big villain speech right before he's going to kill the main person he intended to kill the whole time. It's like, come on, it's like, what? It's like, we're going to do a countdown from 30, not from 5 or 10, from 30, because we need to allow enough time for the other protagonist to come in and save you.
Yeah.
I get it. It's. I don't know if I want that fixed, because that kills horror movies, because you want the good guys to win at the end, but sometimes I'd be shocked if they actually killed everyone.
I would love everyone to get killed. I love when that shit happens.
I don't necessarily love it, but in some of these films, especially, slasher films, it's like, they have no problem. 2 seconds, they kill everyone off, but then they get to the final main person they've been wanting to kill, and it's a 40-minute speech.
Right. Yep. It's been going on forever.
Yeah.
Okay. We got a couple more. Matt Wazell. Yeah. All right. Wants to know our favorite comedy film. See, that's what I was talking about earlier. About other films.
Nice.
So I'll tell you what. Me comedies. Most of my shit's older stuff.
I have older comedies.
Yeah, Airplane and Naked Gun and Caddyshack's probably my favorite.
Caddyshack has to be on.
It was on TV 2 weekends ago, and I was waiting for my kids to get ready for their dance competition, and that movie, that is just a great movie, Caddyshack.
Yeah, man. It's so quotable too. There's just so much going on. I've always loved it, and I honestly, I'm gonna the Belushi-Aykroyd connection with the Blues Brothers and Neighbors is my fucking jam. Neighbors is a very underappreciated, overlooked film, and it's a top 5 comedy to me. I fucking love that movie. The original, not the new one. Belushi and Aykroyd from '81.
Yeah.
Not for everybody, apparently, but I think it's brilliant. So there you go.
I like Arthur.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
I love Arthur with Dudley
Yeah,
Moore.
his drunk ass Dudley Moore.
I love that. And one of my favorite, it's not new now. It's actually like 12 years old now, but it's not really a laugh out loud comedy, although I can laugh out loud from it, but it's a feel good comedy. Napoleon Dynamite. Easily, one of my favorite non-horror films.
Nice.
Some of the comedies, that I would just add to that, Caddyshack, Listen, whatever, would be Ghostbusters, Borat, and Howard Stern's Private Parts.
Private Parts is good shit. Have you read the book?
Vagine.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Borat, and I haven't seen...
My name is Borat.
But yeah, off the top of my head, not too many new comedies, though, that I could think of. But Revenge of the Nerds is another all-time... Man, no, it's shit.
Revenge of the Nerds is fantastic.
Yeah, man. It is fantastic.
Porky's, Revenge of the Nerds, Fast Times at Richmond High, and
yes.
Last American Virgin from back in the day. And then I even like American Pie, the first American Pie. And I'd say like The Hangover. Those like are some of the standout ones of the old school. Not the one that we were talking about earlier, but the actual
right.
What like I
not old school.
Not old school. Just old school. Like that had me laughing out loud.
Yeah, Old School's great.
Throughout the whole film.
Yeah. I haven't seen Old School, but I will. I'm very behind with my comedies. So, okay, 2 more questions that sound familiar. So, one, Tom says, what are some of your favorite horror short films? And then BC says, how do you guys feel about horror shorts? Like 78, Clive Barker directed The Forbidden, starring Doug Bradley. So, I will tell you guys right now, I never watch horror shorts. I'm not against them, of course. I just haven't rushed. I don't know. I just never think about watching them. I don't know what. I even know there's like some that are rated high. What's that one everybody was talking about? It's like a 5-minute film, and it was freaking everybody the fuck out a couple years ago on YouTube.
Oh, Lights Out.
Maybe it's Lights Out. Okay.
The one that's going to be like the new. I got to admit, I don't watch horror shorts. Anthologies would be like a horror short in my opinion. Like, what story there? But I don't. I'm right with you. But I did watch Lights Out. It's good. I mean, all the ones on YouTube are typically good because they have they're very short and they typically have one scare or a creepy tone to them. But I guess Lights Out stood out.
Yeah, I actually don't watch a lot of horror shorts either, but I'd like to start watching more. I remember one that came out last year was supposed to be really good. What was it called? Something with the slasher, Night of the Slasher, I think.
I don't know.
I was reading about it like last year, and it was getting like really positive reviews. I think it was called Night of the Slasher. And it's literally just the lead female taking on a killer in her house. So basically it gets right to the best part. But I don't know where people check out. I guess if you're checking them out online, that's one thing. But where do people normally check out these horror shorts?
I don't know. It looks like we're all in the dark.
I always felt like it's in the dark because if the listeners out there, and I mean, it was Bill who gave this question, Bill and someone else.
Yeah, Tom Johnston and Bill. Yep.
Okay, if they want to make a list each of like their 5 favorite horror shorts of all time, I would love to check some of these out.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
we should do it and then talk about it on a future show.
Absolutely, I would do that in a second.
A quick segment. So there you go, guys.
What actually constitutes a short? Is it under 30 minutes or?
Oh, it's funny. I think you could say under 60.
Is it under 60? Okay.
You think?
I thought
officially, the reality is now, like, even feature length used to be anything over like 70, 75 minutes. Now, who knows? It could be 65 minutes and be considered feature. I think it just has to be over 60. So I think anything under 60, but I think truth be told, you kind of think it's going to be more along the 5 to 30 minute mark.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I always felt like a short, real short would be 5, and then anywhere from 20 to 30 for a longer short.
Yeah, I just figured 20 or less. Honestly, if it's a short, that's just what it seems like to me. So yeah, we're all in the same area.
And
No,
I don't feel as bad. I was like, oh man, it's like I wonder what these guys are going to talk about.
no, none of us know. So educate us. So guys, if you hear that,
Yeah.
send us an email or say
Yeah.
something on the Facebook page.
Yeah,
and-
send us some recommendations. We'll watch them. We'll talk about them.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, I think we just have a few questions left. Let's see. Oh, Gavin. Gavin Taylor, all-time favorite album.
That's a fucking hard question to answer.
It's hard. I could just name 5 or something. But I hear ya. I mean, the Beatles' White Album, Pink Floyd The Wall, Nine Inch Nails, Downward Spiral. Shit, I can go on and on. Are you kidding me? Fucking Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness by the Pumpkins. Yeah, I don't know. I can go on and on.
No,
I can't
hear
narrow it to
you.
one.
I don't
The
even
Dwarves.
because I like so many different genre.
Right.
I guess you could use that. Like I just love so many different
Yeah.
styles. Like I mean, I'll have
Right.
to. I narrowed it down to a couple that came off the top of my head, but I mean, it doesn't even cover everything I enjoy. But I'd say Blood Sugar Sex Magic from Red Hot Chili
Nice.
Peppers, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son from Iron Maiden,
Wow.
and Social Distortion, the self-titled Social Distortion album. Like it just, and that's just 3. And I love so many other albums like
Spice Girls.
Spice Girls, Spice World. I mean, I don't even know any of their album names. Unless Spice World, no, that was their movie.
That was the movie.
I think it's an album too, though. I'm sure.
Yeah, I think probably.
I'm sure they did it all. It was a big thing.
Rocky 4 soundtrack.
Oh yeah. Public Enemy, Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back.
Public Enema?
Oh.
What you,
Man,
you grew up Public Enema?
I love PE. NWA's traded to Compton. I just there's just so much going on. Yeah.
I don't really buy albums anymore.
Not these days. You don't really have to, right?
I don't even download whole albums. I'll just download the songs that I like. But I mean, I always like David Bowie. Some like Hunky Dory or Ziggy Stardust.
Nice.
I really got into Bowie.
Okay, a couple more. Aliens from Johnny Gore. Aliens or Terminator 2?
It's a tough one.
I'll say Aliens.
Aliens, yeah.
I don't even
Yeah.
like it all that much. I love the last half hour, and the rest of it's action, and I'm not good with action. In Terminator 2, here's the funny thing about me and Terminator 2. I saw it the night it came out at the movies with friends. It was the movie to see at the time. Everybody was jazzed about it. And I never even saw Terminator 1. And I enjoyed Terminator 2, but haven't thought to go back and watch it ever since, and never watched any of the other Terminators. But I had a good experience with it. Yeah, I told you, I'm not into action movies. I'm just not into that stuff. It doesn't...
Yeah, I'll go with Aliens also.
Terminator's
I like
a darker
Terminator.
movie. Like I mean, the first Terminator's a darker movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it one of these days. I don't know.
I do like Robert Patrick, though, in Terminator 2.
Yes, he's good.
You know the problem with Cameron is that he loves, and he started this with Laserdisc, so it carried over to DVD and Blu-ray as well. But the reality is that he loves making his director's version for the home video market, which leaves out like all these extra. And granted, it's great to watch once, maybe twice, but I like the theater. So like when I saw Aliens, I remember my parents rented it, and I was like, "This is my favorite movie." When I was a kid, I was just like, "I love this movie. It's awesome." And then I remember getting the Laserdisc, and it was so stoked because he said he's added all this footage back in, and it was great, and it had the scene that they had talked about in the movie, but you actually see it now happen, and it was filmed originally, but for pacing purposes they cut it out. Then you realize there's a reason why they cut that out. For pacing purposes. And to see it once, I was like fascinated and said, I love it. But then you realize it really drags the movie down. And he did it with that movie, The Abyss, Terminator 2, etc., etc. He loves jam-packing, and it should be a special feature or a dual version. They should always incorporate the theatrical version with the director's cut, because sometimes the director's cut is not the best version. I know it's blasphemous to say, but it's not always the case.
You know what? I tend to go straight for theatrical cuts. I tend to go for what made it to the screen. I mean, if I'm a big enough fan, I'll check out these other cuts. especially if they're horror films. But these action films with 45 different cuts of the movie, this one's 1 minute longer, this one's 40 minutes longer, this one's 6 hours longer. It's like the movie was okay. How much better or how much worse? It could be a lot worse, but how much better could it possibly be? It's probably not going to be that much better.
Well, yeah.
Yep. The Aliens, if you get the sets though, on the Blu-ray box set or even the DVD box set, they come with all.
I actually have that.
Yeah. So
And
you
to
have
be
the
honest,
option.
I haven't really dug into it.
Really, when I first bought the set, I watched all the director's cuts and the extended ones first. I couldn't wait to see them.
And that's why I'm not buying these sort of sci-fi action, trilogies or franchises as much anymore. It's like I don't watch them as much anymore. I don't have the attention span to sit there and watch 5 different cuts of a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, you really got to be into something. And even if you are, just like Christian said, a lot of times they took them out, it fucked with the pacing. It's like watching Deep Red. Yeah, I was so excited when I got the Deep Red Blu-ray because they had the Profondo Rosso freaking, the regular version on it, right? Mm-hmm. And I watched it, and I'll tell you what, I tell everybody to watch the original cut and to not watch that one because there's a reason that shit was taken out.
Yeah, and then they have the Hatchet Murders cut, which is like,
right.
It's cut like an hour.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The one in the middle, the one that most people have seen, is the best one. The hour and 45, hour and 46 minute one,
yep.
Not the 2 hour and 10 minute one, and not the hour and 15 minute one.
Exactly, and it's the same thing with Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, I was just going to say Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's a lot of cuts of that. There's the general cut.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell the other one is, the fucking whatever. There's like 3 or 4. I even have one that's like it takes all the cuts and puts it together, so it's one whole thing. It was a bootleg DVD I got, and it's long. But yeah.
And you realize that Romero's unrated version is the best version, not because there's the unrated and there's the original one that came out that was unrated. That's the best version in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm with you. All right, one last question from Matthew.
Walter?
How do I, my friend here, Mathieu? How do you pronounce that, Christian?
Yeah, I thought you said it, Matthew.
Okay.
I think it's Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew.
Okay.
It's just, you said it correct.
It's just spelled very pretentious.
I always never knew how to say it. Luckily, I've never met him in real life. I never had to say his name, but
you'd be like, "Hey, you."
Hey, what's up, buddy? Here's one. What is your favorite horror soundtrack in and out of context? Now, what does that mean, in and out of context? I'm an idiot.
In and out of context?
I'm taking a stab at it, meaning, because I thought the same thing. I think he means, enjoying the movie and maybe just listening to the soundtrack by itself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I chose Requiem for a Dream again. Whether or not you consider that a horror movie, I do. Not, again, just like his Black Swan, it's not a traditional horror film, but it's horrific. And that soundtrack has stayed amazing with me. Yeah. And so I got to pick that movie. Or that soundtrack.
Now, is that for which one, though? When you're watching it or when you're not watching it?
Both. Because I remember it was one of those movies when I was in the theater, I just turned to my wife, and actually we're just dating at the time, and I remember we went to see it. Not a date movie, but we went to see it as a date movie. And I was just like, I can't believe the soundtrack to this movie. And she's like, yeah, I just saw her nodding and whatever. And I remember I went home and I'm like, I got to buy the soundtrack. I just couldn't. And the last time I did that was probably with Halloween. One of the Halloween, because I actually liked Halloween 4 soundtrack, like when they play off the original, but like that soundtrack, Halloween, was probably the other one that really stood out to me. But Requiem for a Dream was the one that I remember running out and buying.
What is it like? What does it sound like? Is it trippy or something?
You know it to hear it because they've used it because of how I don't even know if that movie wasn't all that popular, but they used it as the preview music for a lot of movies, but it was souped up, so it's done as a quartet. So a lot of violin and whatnot, but they souped it up, and it was like the Lord of the Rings preview music and whatnot, and you'll know it to hear it.
I'm gonna download the damn thing. I gotta find, because I'm kind of a soundtrack junkie, but only for a certain kind. It's the kind that I lay down at night I put the earbuds in.
Oh, you'll
and
love
I fucking lay down and just it's got to be trippy, kind of relaxing type of music. Like I can't sit down and lay down and listen to like the Friday the 13th soundtrack. The subtle mellow stuff I could, but not the and all that shit going on. It's just that's not the type of stuff I want to lay down and relax. But I do listen to a lot of soundtracks like that. But Halloween is an obvious for watching the movie. That's just obvious. So and I'll have to say that. But I guess I'll say The Shining as well for watching the movie. The sound design of it and the music and everything they're doing is great. But I own them, but I don't find myself listening to them much. But the one that I have listened to the most and love the most, and it's out of context. It's just granted I love it when I'm watching the movie, but I really appreciate it just in headphones, just to listen to, is Halloween 3.
It's funny that you say that. Yeah, I like that. Have you ever listened to Christine? Because
yes, I have. I had The Fog. I had pretty much any Carpenter horror. I do listen to them. Yeah.
I just brought this up on another show, at a secondary show. I won't talk about it now.
No, I'm
turning it into Dave Z here. Someone reached out to me, and they're going to be on the Horrorphilia Network as well. It's called Postmortem Radio. So
now tell us about it. Let me hear. It's you and who else?
It's me, Jeremy Osborne with Oz. He used to be on the Return to Camp Blood podcast, and left that podcast and wanted to start something new. So he already had another guy, Kenny, new to podcasting, big horror fanatic as well. And so he reached out to me, and I was like very hesitant because I just said, you know what, I'm doing 2, and I don't want to be strapped. But pretty much he approached me the same way you said, Dave. I show up. I get to show up. I don't want to say I don't do anything, but I show up. I don't have to edit. I don't have to do anything else. I say, why not? I'm watching a movie.
You watch a movie, yeah, you take some notes, you go on.
It's going to be more short form in the sense of like the shows themselves will be about 45 to an hour.
Oh, nice. Good. That's cool.
Yeah, and and the whole point of that was not to pimp that, but I brought it up. Halloween 3 and Christine sound like he was doing them right at the same time. In my opinion, it's almost they're very reminiscent to one another. Different, but same sort of ideas, same sort of cues and whatnot. I know that's John Carpenter's style, but those two soundtracks stick out to me as being very, very close to one another.
They are close. They are definitely close. Halloween 3 just has something that no other soundtrack has to me. And like that second track, Chariots of Pumpkins, it's fucking amazing. It's the opening chase scene when the guy's running, and it gets fucking out of control. Oh, it's fucking intense. They don't do shit like that in fucking the Christine. I love the Christine one, don't get me wrong, but Halloween 3 just has an edge. It's crazy. I'm kind of obsessed with that soundtrack.
I find it weird that you didn't mention any Italian films.
I talk about Suspiria so much, and I was going to mention that as one when I'm watching, because it's great. But to listen to the Suspiria soundtrack, not every song, it goes off track. There's like 5 really amazing compositions in that thing. They blow me away. But there's like 3 other ones that just don't seem like they belong. And that's my opinion on all the Italian ones.
See, I love City
Living Dead.
I love that was the one I was just going to bring up, is City of the Living Dead.
All of them. Yeah. They all, even like Dawn of the Dead. Some of it's goofy, some of it's and shit like that. I'm okay with it. I'm just.
I love your total memory of it. It's great too.
It's ridiculous. I mean, you could be making it up for all we know, but it sounds right.
No, it sounded right to me.
Yeah, Dawn of the Dead and like City of the Living Dead. Oh man, I'm obsessed with some of these damn soundtracks. But yeah, that's the thing about the Italian ones. There are some really good stuff going on, but as a whole, to sit and listen to them beginning to end, they don't all do it for me. Even good ones, like the Suspiria and the Beyond and City of the Living Dead and fucking what's that one that everybody loves from the Cannibal Holocaust. They're okay. They just don't. I don't know. They don't have
Cannibal Holocaust soundtrack. That's a good soundtrack.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
It follows. Great soundtrack.
Dude, It Follows is awesome. I've listened to It Follows and The Witch soundtrack like fucking incessantly lately.
Clickety clackety.
They're both great. They're probably the 2 best soundtracks in a very long time. You know something else that's really good? You know what? I'm going off. Forget it. We gave our answers. Okay. Let's move on.
Well, wait, whoa. About the Brandon. Did Brandon answer?
I was going to say City of the Living Dead, but to be honest, I don't listen to a lot of horror soundtracks.
Oh, that's okay. Not everyone does.
The thing that I do a lot is if I hear a song within a film, I'll tend to download that one particular song. Like when you said Requiem for a Dream, I mean, I had to download that instantly.
Yeah.
And I love that. But the same thing, I did it with Cannibal Holocaust. I did it with most of these horror films, but usually just like the main themes or any particular songs that I like that were played in the movie.
No,
That's cool.
and that's what I like about Apple Music, is they do have a lot of these, like the John Carpenter's 2 albums, Lost Themes 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It Follows, The Witch. They're all on my phone right now, and Maniac soundtrack.
Nice,
Remake.
that's great.
It's just
Yeah.
they are great, and for more recent style soundtracks, definitely standouts. But not maybe they don't get like the Hans Zimmer or the John Williams kind of exposure, but some great stuff.
Under the Skin.
Hans Booby?
Hans who?
Zimmer.
Hans Booby? Hans Booby? Die Hard. Hans Gruber. Hans Booby.
That's what that was. I knew it. I just didn't know where it was from.
Return of the Living Dead.
ROTLD. Good shit, man.
Rolling on the deck laughing.
Oh, fuck. Under the Skin. It's not horror, but I don't know what the hell you classify that movie as.
Under the Skin?
Did I say Under the Skin? Is that what that's called?
Are you talking about... Which film are you talking about?
Maybe I'm wrong. Forget it. It's a movie a couple years ago. Scarlett Johansson's in it or some shit.
Oh, yeah. Under the Skin. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I just couldn't think of it. I knew it. I just couldn't think of it.
Check it out, man. It's crazy, trippy. It's like an Alien soundtrack.
Oh, no, I've seen it. It made my top 10.
Nice. I haven't even seen the movie. I just listened to the soundtrack.
Oh, the movie's phenomenal.
All right. I'll have to get on it. Well, as long as we're talking about movies, Brandon, you have a quick update on your challenge?
Yes. Okay, so the last time I talked about it, I believe I was at 62 down, 38 to go. I am now at 92 down, 8 to go.
Wow. Wow.
And
Holy
of the
shit.
and
Right?
of the remaining 8, I have procured 6 of them.
All right. So we've got to get the last two.
So I will get to 98. The last 2 that I'm looking for are extremely difficult to find. I actually reached out to the director of one of them. He never got back to me. Bastard.
That's funny.
But I refuse to pay, $70 for a VHS copy of either one of these movies, but I will find these last 2 movies. So
It's
hopefully
not
by
the
the
director
next...
of Escort Service, is it?
No.
Okay. I can see. Maybe that's why he blew you off. That fucking asshole. Okay.
Although he's friends with him also.
Oh, you see what happens? With that big mouth, see?
Fuck him.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
92
funny.
down. Yeah, I'm
So
waiting for 6 to arrive.
92 down. What day did you start?
So it was probably about 7-8 weeks ago. I'd say 2 months ago.
So 2 months, 92 fucking movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're fucking hardcore,
That's
man.
fucking crazy.
Yeah, you're hardcore.
I would have been done if I just, I gotta wait. I won a couple of these films on eBay.
Do you want to plug 1 or 2 of them?
To be honest, my brain is so fried from that list.
All right, next week. Bring it back next week. Bring it back.
I'll shame one of them.
Huh, go ahead.
The last one I recently watched, well, the second to last one that I recently watched, I'll talk about these 2. I saw a film called Cannibal Hookers, which has a running time of about 63 minutes and probably overstays its welcome by about 62 and a half. It's so low budget and so bad that there's actually a scene at the end that repeats itself. They probably ran out of money editing it. Now, I probably shouldn't be talking so bad about this film because the director of this film is the one that I reached out to because I need the other film of his.
What?
Yes.
Escort
But-
Service all over again.
But
Yes.
whatever, the movie's bad. It's just bad. And then I watched the last movie, the 92nd movie I watched is a film called Night Visitor, which interestingly enough had Derek Rydell in it, who appears in Popcorn, which we'll be covering tonight. And he also appeared in Phantom of the Mall, which was another movie from the list that I rewatched.
That's fucking, you're out of control. Wow. Yep. So what's the name of the movie to avoid again?
Cannibal Hookers.
Cannibal Hookers. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have watched that to begin with.
Yeah,
Okay.
It wasn't one I was looking forward to. Had to see it. But it's only 60 minutes long, so.
Right on.
62 minutes.
That's okay. So next show, give us another update and recommends. So
yeah, definitely.
And as long as we're talking about that, what about you, Christian? Have you watched found footage? What's up with this challenge here?
Yeah, well, I watched 10 since we recorded last. 10. And
wow.
I also want to make sure people realize that I had probably seen a lot of the ones that we had mentioned and some other ones. So I think I had, before I watched maybe 20, I think it was 26 that might have been on, not 26 that were on the list, but 26 found footage, and I might be leaving some out in the horror realm. But I've now watched 10 that were specifically from the list that I hadn't seen yet, and I'm still going to be working on some of the ones that that other people commented on in the comment section, like To Jennifer was mentioned, and there's a few other ones. But so the ones that I watched were Megan is Missing, Amber Alert, Afflicted, Alone with Her, The Bay, The Den, House with 100 Eyes, The Poughkeepsie Tapes, Troll Hunter, and Lake Mungo. Actually,
those are the ones you watched?
Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned Lake Mungo or if it was someone else that said we left it off the list and it should be mentioned. I can't remember now. So
that's a good group of films.
Those are the 10 that I watched, and the one that I actually watched 11. The other one is sort of found footage. It's called Man Versus. It's actually on TM the movie network now. So I guess HBO for you guys. And it was filmed about 20 minutes away from here in Rockwood, and it should be the Crystal Lake. They should use it for Crystal Lake because it's perfect for Crystal Lake as well. You do ask myself, I'm perplexed as to why they didn't do it all in found footage, because it's like the survival guy, like one of those survival shows where the guy man versus like nature, and it's like one of those, and so he's recording himself the whole time, but they actually do insert other shots, like regular film shots, so it's not a traditional found footage movie, even though over 50% of the movie, if not more, is incorporated of him talking to the camera or various cutaways of cameras that he set up.
Wow.
As well. And that's called Man Versus. But other than that, like as of right now, found footage has won because all of these are good. Some I like better than others. Alone with Her would probably be my least favorite on the list, only because it was so straightforward compared to everything else. I'm not saying it was bad. It was well acted. Was
there a standout?
It was well done. The standouts for just creepiness.
I have two of them on that list that you mentioned. I've seen most of them. Some of them I have, but two of them that you mentioned on the list absolutely creep me out. And I want to see if those are the two you're going to mention.
Okay, the ones that creep me out were House of 100 Eyes, The Poughkeepsie Tapes, and Megan is Missing. Those were the ones that really creeped me out. The ones that I thought were probably the best, it's all relative, were The Den, The Bay, and Afflicted. Nice.
Yeah, see, I always got creeped out by The Den and Megan is Missing.
Yeah, Megan is Missing is very unsettling.
Yeah.
And it's not a movie I think I could watch a lot. And The House with 100 Eyes, that's interesting too, because it's the characters that make you want to watch the movie, and yet it's so disturbing that you're like, why am I watching this? Because it just turns to torture at one point. You're like, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you can't. It's like a train wreck. And the fact that they make the husband and wife or boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever the fuck they are, they're so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And yet they're producing a product, and it's well done, well made. Just another. I don't know if I'd ever want to watch it again, though.
Yeah, I could see that, but you still enjoyed it. It still made an impression.
I would love to see a sequel to Troll Hunter, because that was just such an awesome visual movie.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was definitely a lot of fun. The Bay The Bay, I was going
love
back
The
and
Bay.
forth. Like, I enjoyed it overall. Like, it was probably the biggest. It felt like it was the biggest budgeted release out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't actually go and look in the history of them, but I definitely thought it was the biggest
See,
budgeted one.
Afflicted felt like a bigger budget film probably than it was too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Amber Alert
Yes.
was good. Amber Alert, the one thing that dragged Amber Alert down was that although the acting was still decent, the constant bickering between
Yes.
the guy and the girl in the front seat got annoying.
It does get annoying, but I will say this: it does seem realistic to me.
Yep.
That is how fucking people are. I could see that, but I do see what you're saying. I was hesitant to even put that on the list because most people don't like it, but it still struck a chord with me, especially the way it ended. The fucking, the level of immersion. Like I always say, that I get, it feels fucking. It spooked me out.
Yeah. And
So.
yeah, so that, I mean, unless there's any questions you wanted to shoot me, or if I wasn't clear enough on any of the other ones, that would be the update for now. But yeah, all worth seeing. I enjoyed them all, and you know what? Recommend watching them on an iPad. I know someone mentioned that they love watching them on their laptop. Found footage. You're talking about level of immersion. Watching them on my iPad works. I know that it's so
Nice.
weird to say because we're talking film and we're talking theatrical. I actually don't know if these would work as well in the theater. Maybe they would, and some people are fine with them. I think they work perfectly on my iPad.
That's
So-
cool. I have an iPad, but I never watch movies on it.
So that's it. That's
shit.
that's the update.
So far, found footage is winning. Yes. Okay. Now, is it too much to ask for you to just name those movies again and give them a grade 1 to 10? Could you do that?
Yeah. Do you want me to do it now, or do you want me to post it on the site?
Do both. Do it both. That's what I say. Do it here and do it there.
He's like, what an asshole.
Yeah, because I didn't do it.
What didn't you do?
I didn't.
What did you
I should actually didn't grade them. I don't. It's funny. I only grade when we actually are doing the specific movies for the show. I didn't
Right.
actually think of grading these ones, but
Oh,
I
well,
would
then do
say
it on the page. Wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. I'll do it on the page so I don't shortchange any of the films or anything like that.
Because I wouldn't mind hearing your grade and then us giving ours if we've seen it, just to see if we're on the, I'm pretty easy with grades, but I hear you. I guess that is a lot.
Again, I'll tell you right
Yeah.
off the bat, there's nothing under a 7, and there's nothing that's a 10 out of 10.
Okay. Okay. That's fine.
So they're all between a 7 and probably more of an 8.5, maybe a 9, but an 8.5.
Okay.
And I'll put the rest on the site, I guess.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice. So glad to hear that. So far, so good. If more people can get turned on to these found footage movies, there are gems out there. So, cool. All right. Cool. Well, now we got these reviews to do.
All right, our first review, listener's choice, 1991 film Popcorn, directed by Mark Harrier. A murderer begins killing off teenagers at a horror-thon organized in an abandoned theater. A film I've heard described as having more holes than Bonnie and Clyde. Which, honestly, it's true when you start to think about things. But, in terms of... I mean, it's a perfect title. I know the title of this film, Popcorn, had to do with an element of the film that was removed. So that's why the title doesn't necessarily make sense. But in the sense it does, because it's really just a fun little popcorn flick.
Aha. Buy a bag, go home in a box. I remember that. That was the trailer when this movie first came out, and I remember that happening.
Did you see it in the theater, Dave?
I'd like
Brandon?
to say I did, yeah.
I'd like to say I did.
Nah, I can't 100% say
Oh,
I
you're not
remember.
sure? I thought
No.
you were just gonna lie and say, yeah, I'd like to say I did.
Oh, no. If I'm a betting man, yes. I just don't recall the experience, but given the time it was and that I remember the commercial and everything, it just seems like something I would have gone to see, so yeah.
Yeah, I saw this. I saw it in the theater, and I
Did
actually
you?
had the laser disc of this too. Yeah.
Nice,
You know,
Mr.
it's a fun
Laserdisc.
little film. I like it better than it is. I feel like there's a lot of wasted opportunities with this film.
It's kind of confusing.
You know what? I actually don't think it's that confusing. I think there's one thing that throws the whole film off, total misdirection. It takes a whole point away from me, And if it wasn't for this part of it, I think I would enjoy the movie a lot more. And
it's early on in the film, isn't it?
It's when Dee Wallace goes to the theater, and for no rhyme or reason, the marquee letters pop off the screen, the word possessor magically appears, and then a ticket comes out, the door opens, yet there's nothing supernatural about this movie at all other than the setup, and so that makes no sense and is the movie's biggest downfall.
That's the biggest hole in the movie.
Yeah.
Is the supernatural. I mean, that is. You can forgive it because it's, it's just a whatever. It's just
you think it was a dream. You would thought when you're watching this movie. My daughter saw that part with me. I'm watching this movie, and she said it. She goes, "Is she dreaming?" And I said, "Well, I hope so." I couldn't remember. I've seen this movie probably 4 or 5 times in my life, but it's been kind of spaced out, So I forgot, and I go, I don't remember it. I remember the reveal, so I'm thinking, I don't think this is supernatural. But does this make any sense? And that's it. That's what I'm saying about when I said it's confusing. That and later on, when the girl is running, Maggie, our lead girl, when she is running from when she first gets the reveal of the killer, and she's running, and all of a sudden she goes into like dream state, and she's getting all these weird flashbacks, and it's like that's what I'm saying. That half of it for like a few minutes it goes into half dream state, half regular, and that's kind of weird.
Well, it was doing that even earlier on. It started out with her dreaming because she's got these suppressed memories.
Yeah, but she's asleep. It makes sense, and she wakes up from the dream. I get that, but when she's running,
she's having these flashbacks. It's all clicking together.
Yeah, I thought that was okay. I could explain that as like dream and reality. It's kind of blending because it is becoming her reality at the time. So I can buy that, but that whole Dee Wallace scene makes no sense whatsoever. Like, I don't. It's like they're snorting coke off the script at that point and deciding, we'll throw the possession thing. If they just had her walk into the theater and then get attacked, it would have been fine. So I don't even know why they could have cut it out. Like it's such a misstep for no reason. And if they just took that out, the movie actually makes it makes perfect sense in the slasher subgenre reality and world, and I could buy everything else. I watched it twice again for this show, and because I said I remember that, but did I miss something to lead up to that? Like, and I'm like, nope, that's just how it plays out.
Well, look, they were film students. He might have, the killer might have known a very special trick to do that, to make the letters fly off and rearrange themselves.
Yeah. The way it looked, it's just...
the problem is, this film replaced its director 3 weeks in. It replaced its lead actress. I mean, Jill Schoelen wasn't the lead actress. She came in weeks into production, and most of her shots were reshoots. She actually says that she didn't spend a lot of time with the cast because her part was originally played by... I forgot the girl's name. I think it's the girl who played the sister in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Well, you know what? It's funny because her acting is a little weird at the beginning.
She's very disconnected from everyone.
Yeah, acting seems really weird. Some of her responses are weird, but I like her. Like, there's something about her because I love her in Phantom of the Opera, the one with Robert Englund. I love her in that, and
I love her in The Stepfather.
Yeah, and The Stepfather. And so it was funny because she was kind of a scream queen in a sense. Like, a lot of her films were these horror movies, but then she kind of just disappeared or stopped doing them. But she's good, and most of the acting is passable. Another weird thing is the guy from Fast Times at Richmond High,
Mr. Hand, Ray Walston.
Well, what a throwaway that was! Yeah, right?
He pops up, says, "I'm gonna help you out here," and then it's Saturday night at the movies, and then that whole montage sequence, and he's never back. He doesn't get killed. He doesn't. So I don't know if they would just they ran out of money or whatever happened, or if he quit.
They had to be plagued with production problems because that's one of the big things. There wasn't enough kills. I mean,
look at the end credits, and I'm watching them. And remember the way this movie ends. When you see the credits, they show the person's name and they show the character they played in the movie. You see actually them in the scene. And I'm watching all these people. I'm like, geez, they all survived.
Yeah,
It was
this movie has
crazy.
more survivors in it than any other movie. Like, for a slasher movie, there's definitely more survivors.
How did the
Yes.
blonde girl that left him mid-date for the other guy, that big dude who sat down next to her, the girl Joy, and that big dude who punched Mark in the face, how did they not get killed?
Well, that's what's so
Totally.
intriguing about this
Totally.
movie.
Instead, they get beat up by what's her name,
Kelly Jo Minter. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
love
like
beat
her.
up
Kelly
by-
Jo Minter.
I love
it's
her
always
too.
good seeing her because she's a lot of movies I watched back in the day. She was in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in everything back then.
Yeah.
Nightmare
Yeah.
5, Summer School.
Summer
Yep.
school, the best.
Yep. Mask.
Shoot by past. Shoot by past.
She's awesome.
I passed.
Shoot
Yeah.
by past. Shoot by past.
Yeah.
Just
She's
get out of the
cool.
car seat. Yeah. But even her, like if she had a showdown with the killer, it would have been cool because she was a tough chick.
Right.
I get why the other one survived.
Yet I still enjoy the movie. Yet I still enjoy
So
it.
do
At the
I.
end of the day,
That's,
so
why,
am I.
that's what I'm saying. I enjoy the movie, but there's tons of problems with it.
yeah, but I think I'm gonna end up coming in higher than you guys even.
I would have loved to have seen a whole massacre scene with audience members being killed off.
But you know what it is?
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, and maybe they could remake it. But Dave, I don't know if you will come in higher than me because the movie itself is a joy. Because it reminds me, on one part, it plays out kind of like Joe Dante's Matinee, where you have all of these throwbacks, like the movies that they're watching that they created
Yeah.
for this movie are
Crazy.
fucking amazing.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Mosquito, the Guilty as Charged, or whatever the hell it's called in there, and like all of
The
them are
stench.
just
Yeah.
great. Yeah. Oh, they're so fun to watch, and it's a love note to the movies. Yeah, it's unfortunate that they're plagued with problems, but it is intriguing that, like, they killed the guy in a wheelchair.
Yep.
They
Yes,
killed
they
the
do.
slut. They killed the teacher.
The teacher, that had to be probably one of the worst kills I've ever seen. Like, it was a good kill, but like the worst in terms of like, move.
Well, he just
Step to your left.
I think he thought he's still in control of the skeeter.
No, he knew he wasn't in control. He's like, it's coming towards me. Move.
He couldn't face the facts. He kept trying to think that he was gonna play with his joystick and it was gonna
Yeah.
fix it.
Move.
I know. Move.
It's like move. Like I was like, oh man, I like that guy. He's always in all those Woody Allen movies.
Yeah, he's cool. I forget his name, but yeah.
Tony Roberts.
Yeah, he's been around. I like him.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But what's his name? I mean, I don't want to say it saves the movie because the movie's enjoyable no matter what. But what's his name?
Oh, Tom
Toby.
Villard? Yeah.
Toby's.
He's
I mean,
good
Tom Villard, he's amazing.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
great. He's great. And I read this on IMDb that somebody made reference, and I couldn't think of it when I'm watching the movie. I'm like, his mannerisms and the way he's portraying the character. I'm like, people were referencing that Jim Carrey sounded like him in The Mask.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, they're right. That
Yeah,
was it.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's yeah.
He was very comical, very, very good. I think it was very easy to figure out who the killer was even if you've never seen the film.
Yeah.
There's a certain side shot that's shown that you could just tell is who it is.
And they even when they show it earlier, when they show the other version with the the burns, they show it. There's a full shot when you see it before
Yeah.
the reveal.
Yeah, you can tell.
probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There is, but I remember not knowing when I was younger. But
I didn't know when I was younger.
And-
I admit that.
I remember, like, this came out, I think, the year after Darkman, and I thought, oh, this is awesome, because he kind of had, like, with the whole face and putting the face on, and that was what, like, in Darkman, that's what he was doing too, and he could be anybody. And I thought, what a cool idea. Now, they don't really, and again, that's just what's intriguing about the movie. They use it, but they
not
don't
enough.
overuse it, or they don't
Right.
go too far with it. It's just there enough for it to be intriguing, but going, well, they could have done so much more with it, but
I would have loved to have seen him wearing every face throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, the scene in the bathroom was hilarious. He starts
Yeah.
peeing on the guy. But
That was great.
I would have
It's
loved
not-
to see I would have loved to see even at the beginning while they're organizing it. Like if it turns out like one of them was him the whole time wearing someone else's face. Like, and just have like a big like Saw reveal at the end. I don't know.
Oh, in case the listeners haven't noticed by now, we're spoiling. So.
But they also we've spoiled it left, right, and center. And but I love how they did it because he's wearing the face and you can tell it's peeling at the side. It's not like they made it picture perfect. He puts on the sunglasses to kind of hide the eyes. Like they really do explain it. I just feel like they don't go really far, but he plays such a great crazy person.
One thing they made perfect though, and they made it a little too perfect, was he was able to do those voices way too well.
Yeah. Well, he said he did mention that he had the box or something. Right?
Yeah, but he had like the box was like with their voices in it.
Yeah, but check it out. But there was other times when he was trying to replicate their voices and he couldn't. And the one time he even got called out on it. A couple times he did.
Yeah, when
Remember?
Mark was like, she looks like shit. When
No,
they're
but
up in the rafters, and he's like,
frog
that
in the
too.
throat. He said a frog in the throat.
Both of those. There you go. Those are the two instances. They're two different instances, and there it is.
How cool is that scene though, where he's gonna kill that girl, but she says that she's madly in love with Toby, and so he runs off, and I thought that was great. It was just well done. There's so many great.
He was very comical after that because the next scene is like him like stressing out. He's like, I got my own problems to worry about.
Yeah, that was good.
Like, he was
talking
actually,
about love.
Yeah. Love, I got my own worries. But seriously, Mr. Davis, move.
Just move.
Move.
And they repeated the fucking kill. Which is weird, which is odd because they had so much. Conceptually, this is great. They're watching those movies, the whole thing about the backstory of the Possessor movie and everything else. I honestly, I wish they would play this someplace, and I don't care. They could charge us $20 or whatever to go in there and have all those movies, and then basically do what they were doing in this movie and put up a mosquito prop and put up this and put the smell in there and the shock. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't you guys love to go to something like that?
Yeah.
The tingler, like getting the electric shocks of the chairs.
But even popcorn, even if they had played popcorn and it was still interactive, because that's the idea. You know what I'm saying?
Now they actually killing us.
Yeah, it would be fun.
One in five.
That's up to you.
1 in 5 doesn't make it alive.
Nice, there you go. Just to add realism to it. Yeah, so there's actually fear. But yeah, they had other things they could have done, and they didn't. It was a good kill. I mean, they ripped it off of Flash Gordon. That's the Ming kill right there, Ming the Merciless. But it's still fucking sweet.
Did anyone else think the? Sorry, Dave. What were you gonna say?
No, I was saying, as far as the kills go, they're not all that memorable. I mean, there's there's the wheelchair with the electricity, and I couldn't understand the one. When he was making out with the girl, and then the skin starts coming off. How did he end up disposing of her? Do they ever show us?
Well, he strangles her. He strangled her. Yeah.
Strangled her?
With like the ropes or whatever there that.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I.
He just strangled her.
I missed it. I was like, I don't get it. Because I'm like, you're assuming he's going to kill her, and I didn't see it happen. Then the next scene, obviously, she's dead when she's mimicking her voice and moving around. That's the scene where she looked like shit when the guy said that,
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of that guy, did you guys like they use him for comic relief? Like, he's always falling down, Mark or whatever. Like, he falls down, like, I think 3 times.
Yeah, he falls down the stairs.
He's the total comic relief.
You okay, Mark? I'm fine. Be careful. Just don't step on my hand.
Yeah, they made that
just
noise.
steps on his hand.
This was like a fucking an 80s movie in 91. This is just like an 80s slasher. I think I venture to say this is probably the last movie of its time at that time. Like in 91 when this movie dropped, I don't think there was anything else like it after.
I'd say this and Dr. Giggles may have been the last one. I'd give Dr. Giggles, like, Dr. Giggles still felt like it was like a lost 80s slasher movie. Sillier, but still a lost 80s slasher movie.
Was it like a stalk and slash of a group of friends, though? Like the regular shit that they do? I forgot Dr. Giggles.
Well, I mean, it's a slasher film. It's a group of people, yeah. I mean, it's... But that was the one with Larry Drake, and I'd say that I saw that in the theater too. I'd say these two were the last slasher movies before they died out, and then Scream kind of rejuvenated them again. I know we're only talking a difference of 4 years, but they weren't making them like they were back in the early '80s.
No.
to mid '80s like that. Like this was still like kind of like a if not dying, dead subgenre.
It was.
Yeah.
It was dead. I mean, that's what's. Cause I remember, when we did our top 40. So I remember us looking at all the years and remarking then how, like, in 87, 88, there was barely any left. And they were big, 80, 84, of course. They were huge. But even then, I remember 89 when Intruder came out. I remember that being the last one. And then even seeing it felt kind of weird. It felt like it should have been, like, 3 years earlier or something. Whatever, So it was really gone. They weren't making them at all. And then they made this, and it's weird. It fit right into it. It was just cheesy enough. It fit in perfectly with movies like that. And, that's something else about it. That's why we are going to come in kind of high, I guess. Because it's fun. Because it's a fun movie. And the girl's relatable. She kind of reminds me of, like, almost like Winona Ryder in Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Very, very mopey and withdrawn.
Yeah, but cute and relatable,
She was also in Cutting Class, so she did do a nice amount of horror films.
Yeah.
And she did Chiller, the Wes Craven TV movie.
Right.
Did you guys notice one of the things that's sometimes these things just stick out to me, maybe because I've watched it twice in a row, it stuck out to me even more so, but when the lights go out and they're like, oh, we got to get everything back up and running, we got to get things going, or like that, it just sounds so ridiculously overdubbed. There's like, hey everybody, while we get the lights on, the band's gonna start playing. It just seems so, I don't know if you noticed it, but like it seems like, I don't know what character it was, but just like some overdubbed voice that says that, and then all of a sudden the band just starts playing their reggae music. And
they're in the middle of a power outage. Yet Earth, Wind, and Fire was able to perform a whole set.
Right. We don't have any lights, but these guys can plug in their instruments just fine.
And the film was shot. The film was shot in Jamaica. That's why it's a reggae band.
Yeah, that's what
I read that because I was like, what the hell are they listening to here?
Fucking serious? It really?
I was like, hey, it's Earth, Wind, and Fire. Do you remember?
It really was filmed in Jamaica?
Yeah, it was filmed in Jamaica. Yeah, that's why it was a reggae band.
Oh my gosh, that's fucking crazy. How about Dead Dog? When they were setting up for the show and they were setting up the
Dead Dog.
He goes, I have a fucking scent of a dead dog. The guy and the guy says, and the girl says, gross. So then the next scene, they're testing it. He puts it out, and the other students that are getting ready to put on the fucking, it's behind, they smell it, and somebody says, oh, dead dog.
Yeah, the guy in the wheelchair says, oh, dead dog. Cause it's like,
how would you know what a fucking dead dog smells like? What the fuck? Like that's a common smell. It's like a rotten egg.
And then he says body odor, and the girl's like, gross. And he's like, no, not B.O., but the odor of a dead body.
Yeah. Gross. That cracked me up. That fucking he smells something. Imagine doing that. What's that? Smells like a dead dog. I mean, who the fuck smells a dead dog?
You know, wet dog. I mean,
yeah, maybe that's what they were going for. But do you guys know what the budget for the movie is? Because it grossed $4.2 million, and
it had to be a high budget because it was considered a failure.
But that's what I was just about to say. Like that, $4.2 million for a slasher film. Now, if we're talking like Maniac or The Prowler, was probably a killing, but maybe that's why, because they said this was considered a failure, and that's exactly, funny enough, they said it really didn't go to mainstream theaters, and I remember we saw it at South Common Cinemas, which was kind of more of a second-run theater system. They had smaller screens, cheaper rates, but we always went there because they would play the movies we wanted to see, and that's where I saw Repossessed, the Linda Blair knockoff of The Exorcist, Popcorn, Out for Justice, Texas Chainsaw: The Next Generation. Like, they never came to our mainstream theaters, but I saw them all at this place.
Man, I think I saw Popcorn at a theater like that as well.
Yeah, I wonder how much it costs, because it does seem like $4 million's a nice amount of money. I don't think any of this cast was getting paid, $1 million.
No, that's for sure.
Well, it was a shame to read about the guy who played Toby. I didn't realize he died so young.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, he died a few years later. He died complications from AIDS.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, he was only 40.
Wow. No shit. How about that guy in the wheelchair when he's sitting there and he's doing the electric shocks and he's getting ready anyway. when he gets his death, somebody comes up behind him and puts his hand on him, and he immediately thinks that someone wants to do something kinky with him. Who did he think it was? Did he? You know what I'm saying?
Sounds like that girl got around. Like, I think it was just that girl was a slut, slept with the teacher to get her marks, maybe fooled around with a guy in a wheelchair. I don't know. Because you're right. He did just sort of like, oh, here we go. Yeah.
He was like the class clown, so you would just expect he was going to, like, be inappropriate and act that way.
Yeah.
No matter who it was. I don't think he was expecting to be electrocuted the way he was.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. He was the same guy that had the reaction to the dead dog.
Yeah.
Right?
It was funny because he was in the wheelchair, so like
Right.
he was right at the level of the mouth, and it was literally just shooting right into his face. It's like, oh, dead dog, move me.
Oh, man, that's why they did him. Yeah, it was right into his face. That's fucking funny. Oh, man.
It's a very enjoyable film, but it could have been an amazing film.
Yes, it could have been. Yeah, a couple things changed. Yeah, they could have tweaked it. It could have been.
I won't. No matter what my score is, because I'm still not decided on it. It's still a film that I do hope gets a Blu-ray release at some point. I know there are talks about it, but if it does,
Synapse for years now.
For years,
sitting on their asses. Yeah,
but if it does, I'll pick it up because it's a fun little film just to throw on and watch.
Dude, yeah, and the whole possessor thing, that angle, and the video, that's fucking spooky shit. There was some spooky shit. Right?
Man, this is the beginning, the opening credits with the whole vat of masks. I was like, that's creepy as hell.
Yes, that is creepy. Yeah. So it kind of has a lot of everything in there,
Yeah.
It's just, but it just doesn't, something's lacking, but it has a lot of pieces that together make up a good slasher film. They just drop the ball a little bit.
Don't you feel like Scream 2 kind of forward for that? I don't know now if I read that somewhere or if it's just because I saw the film school, like it was right to the film class, just like Scream 2 did, and they're talking.
You had to have read it. I don't believe you're capable of original thought.
What an asshole is the line we say every time you speak.
You speak.
But no, it really does play out. It was definitely ahead of its time then from that self-referential standpoint for horror, because it predates Scream and everything else by 5 years.
Right.
Even New Nightmare, which I guess kind of... I'm not saying, again, we're not saying those were the first to have that self-referential factor, but those are the ones that started making it become definitely more popular.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, it just... I love that, and maybe that's why I related it to more back when I saw it in the theater, because, I wanted to make movies, and then it was making movies and them getting killed at the same time. So I was like, great, sign me up.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, we ready for ratings? What do you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can rate.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one to rate.
It is a tough one. It's a tough one to put a number on, because,
Yes.
Because I don't feel like whatever number I give it, I don't feel like it's going to represent like how I feel about the film.
That's kind of how I feel.
It's
right.
weird. It's a film where I say, see it, enjoy it for what it is. It's a fun film. It's got a lot of rewatchability to it. Is it a great film? No. But, just for pure enjoyment, I'll give it a 6.5.
All right. Well, so far I am coming in higher, but not much. 7 was the number I went with. As we were talking for a little while, I was considering going 8, just because I was reminiscing about it again, and you guys feeling the same way. But when you really look at it, it's like I said, it's good, it's enjoyable. There's just some things about it that are a little off that could have been fixed. So I didn't want to go too high. So yeah, 7 is where I'm at. But yeah, it's definitely a recommend. It's definitely a what do you call it? It's up there. If I'm gonna give it an exploding head.
Oh yeah, I think you're in half head territory.
Yeah, I could go with a half head blown.
Well,
So,
Yeah, I was
Sorry.
gonna say. I'm sorry. I was just gonna quickly say I wasn't blown, but if anything, this film is just worth having just for. I wasn't.
yeah.
What an asshole.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh man.
I was not too long ago.
But the movie is certainly worth seeing, if only for Toby's performance alone.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just think he's that good. I think he carries the movie.
Yeah, he is good.
And Dave, I'm right there with you. I said it would be an 8, but I'm taking that point away for the inexplicable,
Yeah.
marquee
the
sequence. It
Yep.
just doesn't work. So it's a 7 out of 10. But definitely see it. It's a fun slasher film, and even these little like craziness and screw ups and wackiness is part of its intrigue all at the same time.
Yeah. It's just one of those movies.
It's just fun because it's a horror film about people who love horror films set in a movie theater where they're watching other horror films. It's like,
Right, yeah.
It's like you love that. You're like, oh, you want to look at the posters, you want to look at the props. It's just a fun movie to look at.
Yeah, there's like a good time vibe going on
Exactly.
by horror fans.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's very relatable. It's just conceptually it's great.
Yeah.
And it does succeed on those levels. You
Mhm.
know, it's just a couple things that we touched on. But there it is. Pretty favorable review, I would say. So that was Popcorn. Listeners, you guys chose it. So, y'all bought it, so y'all caught it. Tell us what you think.
Thank you.
So now we go into one more. And yes, we're going to spoil this one too. And that movie is House of the Devil.
The House of the Devil, 2009, directed by Ty West. During a night in 1983 with a full lunar eclipse, Samantha Hughes takes a babysitting job surrounded by mysterious circumstances before she finds out her client's terrifying secret. Wow, that description is giving a lot away. But you know what? I really don't feel like you could go into this movie completely blind unless somebody just handed it to you and said, "Here, watch this." Like
Well,
you're gonna read a little bit about it, and you're gonna get an idea of what type of film it is.
You don't need to know Dick. The title alone, House of the Devil. It doesn't
That's
obvious.
True. That's true. Yeah, yeah, okay.
And she's going to a house. She's a base. Somebody
She's
wants
going
you to
a house
babysit.
and of the devil.
It's
Fun
easy.
things are not going to happen. It's not going to be like a big parade with clowns and confetti.
Now, Dave, Christian and I were talking about this actually before we even started recording tonight, and that the look of this film and the way it was shot and everything is just top notch.
Top notch.
Top notch, man. Well, it looks like even my wife caught me watching. She goes, "What the hell are you watching?" I'm like, "A great horror movie." And she's like, "Well, what's it called?" I said, "House of the Devil." She goes, "It looks so old." I'm like, "That's what he was going for. It was just made in 2009, or released in 2009." I said, but it's made to look like an early 80s horror film. And he
And it
totally
succeeded. Yeah.
Totally succeeded.
10 out of 10 for that.
10 out of 10 for that.
That's yeah.
But he also incorporates some 70s techniques, because it was even very 70s just to freeze frame, throw the title on.
Yes.
Loved
And-
it.
Yeah.
Loved that title
Yeah.
card. Fucking look at
Yeah.
the color of it. Everything. It's fucking right on. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm a sucker for shit. That's that. Okay, that I don't want to call it the saving grace, because I'm not saying this movie's bad at all. But I'm saying that is to me, that's the best thing about the film is the presentation and the feel, and the girl being another one. Much more though. I mean, the first girl was relatable in Popcorn. This girl is very relatable.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
a great final girl, if you will. She is
Yeah.
the right amount of attractive, the right amount of personality, everything. It's just she's a likable. If she wasn't a likable girl, the movie might not work, because you're spending a lot of time.
Oh, it falls on
Yeah.
her shoulders. And she's
It's
fairly
yeah.
new. Or at the time, she was fairly new.
This was a movie about real estate, right? She spent most of the movie touring that house.
Yeah, but well
I'll
done.
take it. Sold.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a movie, and I hate to use this phrase but I think this is a movie where it's definitely more style over substance. Yet I get why the substance is so minimal. It's it's to be the type of film it was trying to be. Even when you get all the way to the end, while certain things aren't necessarily my favorite, I 100% understand why the film is the way it is. And some people will hate it just because they'll be like, oh, well, nothing happens and this and that. And then other people will be like, well, it's an homage to this type of film from this time period. And it really captures that vibe.
Exactly. But I think it does. Shit does happen. It just happens.
It's a very slow burn. And at one point I was even, and this was a rewatch for me. And even at one point I'm like, all right, this is a little bit too slow of a burn.
Okay, well, I've watched it 4 times, and I love it. Yeah, it's a slow burn, and I got ADD if I do. I'm self-diagnosed, but weed helps. No, I'm just kidding. But where I'm going with it, on that too. Yeah, but where I'm going with it is that I never found this movie boring. Never once. Not once have I found this movie boring. I like the way it's introduced. Funny enough, we talked about it when I was rewatching it, going, "Hey, did the listeners realize they picked 2 movies with Dee Wallace in it?"
Yeah.
And what a great
and that's one of the little criticisms. She had a very small part, but it just seemed like a throwaway part.
Yeah, that's when she was just coming back, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. That's fine.
She came back slowly, Dee Wallace, into horror. Now she's kind of back in. But, I mean, she was doing just tad parts here and there, and she didn't start to do more, I don't think, until Lords of Salem. And then she's done a couple more. But
I mean, it was a nice little part. She had a nice interaction with the lead character. It was nice to see, friendly interactions with people.
It was funny what she said, too, because it was almost like talking about, her other movies. She's like, I'm too old to be dealing with this nonsense now, or something, she says.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like, a nod and a wink to, the other movies that she's been involved in, and, people that, obviously, I mean, that's why she's cast in a movie like this, But, yeah, it's funny, I forgot to mention it in Popcorn. The guy mentioned fucking Spielberg, and she was in E.T.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was funny.
I'm pissed too. Well, I forgot to mention in Popcorn too. 2 Iron Maiden references, man.
Yes.
Eddie was one of the masked guys in the audience, and I fucking forgot to mention it. Well, hey, we're mentioning it now. And then they talk about, and you thought Iron Maiden was just a heavy metal band when he puts her in that thing at the end. 2 Maiden references in the movie, man.
I got the second one.
Yeah, the one that
I didn't see
was force-fed to you. Yeah,
I didn't see the Eddie mask. How did I miss that?
They cut to him twice. Eddie.
Wow. What the fuck? I can't believe I missed it. The guy with the 2 heads was cool. That's something else about Popcorn. Everybody was so into it in the crowd. You would never get anything like that with everybody dressed up. The amount of people that were dressed up just to go see these cheesy horror movies, it was off the fucking hook. It was crazy.
The 2-headed guy, I thought he was going to play a part at one point. I mean, even though this was a rewatch, so I knew he was. And they showed him a lot.
Yeah, they sure as fuck did. But anyway, yeah.
Sorry, back to House.
And that was House of the and that was House of the Devil.
And that's House of the Devil.
And that's
12 out of 10.
Yeah. So I don't even know where we were here, but
we're on Dee Wallace. We're talking about Dee Wallace and her part in it, but yeah, the way that she's introduced to the whole thing with the babysitting, she just gets this apartment, she's happy, she finds that she wants to do this babysitting thing, make a few extra bucks. Mm-hmm. The way that whole interaction there, creepy, but creepy only because we know we're watching a horror film, but for her it kind of seems realistic. She gets stood up, but then how it all sort of plays out again, and she ends up getting the gig. I thought they did that really well.
I was going to say, there's something so soothing and terrifying at the same time about Tom Noonan's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
I would like for him to come over and just read me a story before I go to bed.
Yeah, he did great in this one. My only thing is, I've mentioned, I have no problem with the slow burn, and the only time I could see it maybe being slow, like Brandon, you had no problem with the beginning, you said, at all, and all that.
No, the beginning was great. Okay. Even just a few. There was a little bit in the house. There was 2 or 3 segments where she was touring the house where they broke it up. It was it should have either been one long continuous take or Or
Well, it
You
would
know.
have been too much of a montage if it would have just been one. You know, they did a little montage.
It was like, come on.
But I could see someone would say that. Me, it didn't bother me, and I've learned that I'm okay with slow burns. Another guy, ADHD, 100%. But if I'm immersed into a movie enough, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just, that's what it is about my mind, that if I get into something, I'm sucked into it deep, nothing's pulling me out. It doesn't happen much, but, you know, it does. Like it happened with The Witch. You know, it's certain movies. But anyway, this movie, I was into it. You know? My only beef comes at the end, honestly. I'm fine with everything until the end, and I'm not just talking about the very end. Although
I'm actually kind of fine with the whole thing. I wish certain things had played out a little different. I wish maybe the reveal of the son was done differently. Like maybe the first time maybe the first time we saw him was when he delivered the pizza. I understood why he was at the cemetery and why he ended up killing.
What's her name?
What was Greta Gerwig's character's name?
I don't know.
Well, I also like, she's actually a good actress too.
Mm-hmm.
Megan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I get it. He had to be there. She was, you know, the babysitter was the chosen one, so there was no getting away. Basically,
Right.
she was going back to that house even if she had left. He was going to find a way to get her back to the house.
That scene was shocking though, because it's just
Yes.
yeah.
And awesome too.
Yeah.
Gory. Awesome.
Yeah, it's weird because I was, you know, I knew it was coming and it was still shocking.
Mm-hmm.
like a page
Well
out of Maniac.
done.
Not slow mo and not quite as brutal as the Maniac scene, but like just boom,
No.
gunshot, splat, and it's just because the movie's been goreless at this point and
Yeah.
and whatever, and boom, it just hits you over the head with that scene, and it's like whoa, and then you're done, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on here?
The lesson to be learned is don't stop by any cemeteries to smoke cigarettes,
Yeah.
and if you do and someone approaches you, just tell them you're the babysitter.
Yeah.
Yes. And why? You're right. That's something else about this that I was wondering. Why the fuck would she pull over to light a cigarette? Weird. I don't know. You stop the car to fucking light a smoke? Smokers, they're always smoking in their fucking car, you know? I don't know. I just found that weird. That's a book that I took. That she
It didn't
stopped to
bother
light.
me. It was like, okay, she just pulled over. She was a little upset that, you know, Samantha stayed behind because she knew something was up. So she just pulled over to have a smoke, and then shit went down.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's a nitpick, I suppose.
Yeah.
How about like when he says painless? Earlier on in the movie, when he's on the phone with her, and he says, "We'd like to make this as painless as possible for you."
Yeah.
I really think he was meaning that in fucking, you know, in what we come to see at the end. That whole.
Yeah, it's almost like he was completely honest the whole time. Like he never lied to her. He just left out certain things.
Well. Yeah.
It's almost like he's talking about his intentions the whole time without actually saying them.
In a way. Yeah, I could see that. Definitely with that line. Once he gets to the house, though, or she gets to the house when they're talking about the my mother-in-law's upstairs and all that, then it's a whole different thing. You know?
Yeah, that part got a little weird.
What's true about that? I honestly don't even know what is she up there?
I think Mother was up there.
I'm not sure. That's why I'm asking you guys. You think she was up there?
I do.
Well, I don't think it was their house.
It wasn't their
Oh,
house.
Yeah,
that's right.
that was
They took the house
it
over,
was-
they whacked them.
Yeah, they whacked.
Right.
That was the dead bodies were in that room with the pentagram, so they were up there. And then I guess that Mother? Is that the creature?
Yeah, Mother's the creature. Why is Mother a creature?
I don't know. It's interesting that it's a creature, too.
Why can't she just be an old woman?
I don't know, because she had to impregnate the girl. Isn't that their plan?
None of that bothered me though. I never. I
No,
guess,
it doesn't bother
bother
me.
me.
It's just so minimal that it's like you kind of want a little more.
It is minimal, and that's something that does affect it a bit. Honestly, my biggest beef with it is the ease of her escape. That's all. It always has been. That she just tied down, and all of a sudden
It's whacked
she's gonna
Mother,
overpower
and then- yeah.
fucking people with it. Just by how did she get out? Just cut herself loose or break? I don't know. It's just
Well, maybe, you know what? Actually, it's a little refreshing to see that not everybody knows how to tie, like, these military-style knots and stuff.
And maybe they're not literally. They're just doing the bidding, as they said. They're the messenger, so they're not like skilled murderers or anything like that. So maybe,
Well, they weren't planning on killing her.
yeah, they just
I mean, so she didn't have to be tied down that hard. They just had to get the ram's blood, or the goat blood, into her belly before she woke up. The biggest thing to nitpick is how did she even decide to eat that pizza? Did you see that? It looked like it wasn't even cooked.
Well, that's what I'm starting to wonder. Is that what drugged her? Is the fact
Yeah,
that
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But
no,
that's the
because I
plan,
understand why
right?
Christian asked that, though, because she mentioned that she can get disoriented at times.
yeah.
So I was,
Oh.
if people are coming from all different areas, it was like a throwaway line, I guess. I don't know why it was even said.
Well, she said it in a weird spot, and then at the same token, it was like, yes, she had eaten the food, so and then threw it away, kind of in disgust. So you're kind of thinking, okay, what's wrong with that? And of course, then she starts getting faint, whatever. But it seems like the music's been swelling, and she's been scared herself like 3 times as she's going around this house, as Brandon mentioned earlier. But ultimately, I thought is she fainting out of fear? Is she just getting disillusioned? But I was like, or no, it's probably that fucking pizza. But they never,
Yeah, it was the pizza.
again, they never dwell on it too much or whatnot.
See, that's something else about that movie, is that their whole plan has to do with this pizza. What if she'd happen to not be hungry? You know? What if she didn't order
and
a pizza?
that's why I say, look, I mean, the son was hanging out down the block at the cemetery. You know, what's the characters' names? Sorry.
You know, don't
Mr.
ask
and
me.
Miss the Allmans. You know,
Okay.
Tom Noonan and his wife were never
Mhm.
far away. So it was clear that Samantha was never going anywhere once she got there. You know, that she was chosen.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just,
You know,
Instead-
was she a virgin?
I don't think she was a virgin.
You don't think so?
No, I don't.
Oh.
She doesn't give me that vibe. She reminds me of a girl I'm just telling you, just the vibe I get off her is like, I don't know. I don't think she's a slut. I just think.
Because he made reference
puts out-
like we had another girl, but it didn't work out. Like, why didn't it work out with the other girl?
She found out when she got the reveal and she got the fuck out. Like,
But if she had been if she was fine and chosen too, why didn't they just?
she had to
What's
stay
her?
in the house. She had to stay in the house in order to get the pizza. Remember, they had to make her comfortable. They had to put her in-
They could have just knocked her out and just dragged
Well,
her
there
back
you
to the
go.
house.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I like the movie, but there's a couple things that. There you go. There's another one I didn't even think about.
I read a theory online, and it's a cool theory. I don't buy into it or not, but it was cool that suggested that perhaps Samantha was, and we're obviously dealing with spoilers with both these films, but that Samantha was pregnant from the beginning of the film.
That's interesting. Maybe she was.
It's an interesting theory. I don't necessarily buy into it because I think it's meant to be an 80s style, satanic cult film.
Right?
But there's the scene at the beginning where she's obviously stressing and crying in the bathroom, and she's eating a lot of junk food throughout the whole movie. Not that means anything. People eat junk
but
food.
still.
She's
Yeah.
eating a lot of chocolate and stuff, and she's obviously very stressed. She's clearly disgusted with her roommate just having sex and sleeping all day.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they wouldn't know that, and they couldn't bank on the fact that putting these little ads around at a school was going to get them someone that was pregnant.
No,
Yeah,
no,
but maybe because of their
no,
age.
I'm saying what the point is that nobody knew. Is that only Samantha? Not even Samantha. That nobody knew,
Oh, okay.
and that ultimately what they believed to be a success was not, because this takes place in the
Oh.
This takes place in the 80s, as during what was considered a time when people were worried about these crazy satanic cults and stuff like that. And so, they might have just been delusional and thinking, okay, we impregnated her with the son of Satan, with the child of Satan, and it might have just been she was pregnant.
I get you. That's quite possible.
I mean, I like that theory. I don't buy into it.
I'm okay with it though.
because I'm okay with it as you know, as an idea, but you know, the idea that they talked about how the moon the eclipse exited quicker than scientists had expected, and they couldn't explain it, and that was in conjunction with her shooting herself.
Right.
You know, it was just too coincidental to be in conjunction with that.
Yeah, it's like it knocked something off its axis.
And she never killed, and she never shot. I don't even know his name. I can't remember his name.
They just call him Mr. Ullman.
Mr. Ullman. Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird, I guess, because he just sued her. I love that, though, because when I was young, we always watched these movies. My buddy and I always said, like, why doesn't someone just say, I'm a goner, and just say, I can't get out of this, and then just kill themselves? And it never played out like in those slasher movies when you're the final person, you're like, death is inevitable or whatnot. And they always try to fight their way out of it. And we just thought it would be cool to see someone just give up. And she kind of gives up, but ends up not doing it properly.
Yeah, there was a show on, I don't know how many years ago, called Harper's Island. It's a TV show. Yeah, and it was pretty good. I like, it was you know, like a slasher mystery show, and I liked it all the way until the reveal. I didn't really love the reveal in that, but one of the kills in it was a self-inflicted kill, and it was actually like one of the more creepy, like heart-wrenching ones. It was like, you know, the girl basically saying you can't have me, and basically killing herself. So it made me think of that.
But I mean, I like that because it deviates from what we're used to.
I would have thought, though, the one thing I was thinking is, you know, like, she sees these veins pulsing in her stomach and stuff, and, like, why didn't she shoot herself right in the stomach?
Yeah, it's a painful death, though.
I think she wanted it, you figure you're shooting yourself in your head, it's pretty much a done deal. Unfortunately. In this case, it's not. No, I do like that last scene, though. I love the fact that, hey, she survived. We never find out what happened with Mr. Ullman, and it just kind of left open.
I'm okay with that too.
I mean, I know people hate that ending, but because it's like just such it's kind of cliche, but it fits perfectly with the style of film.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a perfect line. You know, it's not shocking. You know, you'll be fine, both of you. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
That's my only problem is the ease of her escape, I think, and then just I wouldn't mind a few more minutes of the climax. I don't know, just when they get up there and they're doing their ritual. I just wish there would have been more of that stuff. But
I wish she had grabbed the gun before she went up to the attic instead of after she killed Mrs. Ullman and came down. That's another trope or action in horror films that I absolutely hate is when the protagonist kills or supposedly kills the bad guy, and never grabs the weapon.
Right?
The first thing I would do, the first thing you would do after you knocked the killer out or thought you killed the killer is grab the weapon and continue to kill that killer over and over and over, non-stop, cut them up into small pieces until the police arrive, then cook the pieces, then mail the pieces to different countries.
Amen. Yep. You would fuck them up. Of course, we know all the movies we've seen. More than anybody, horror fans know that because they've seen it too many times in movies. They'd be like,
I guess the films wouldn't be as fun if they'd be over in 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You know what I was thinking about that pizza thing again? I keep going back to the pizza.
Pizza?
Pizza. Now, okay, there you go. Pizza, the Canadian place, yes.
That was the name of the place.
I know. It was filmed in Canada, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. But there's no way that would have got that pizza. You know? Remember how far out they were? They were in the middle of nowhere. For that guy to take that order and go to a pizzeria and get the pizza she ordered and come back, it would have been a couple hours of a commute, I think.
I think he had the pizza the whole time, and he
knew what she was going to order.
Yeah, extra pepperoni. Don't forget they were probably watching her the whole movie, and she had pepperoni pizza with Megan earlier in the film.
I don't know, man. That's a hell of a chance to take, because the shit would be cold. Isn't the way she holds the pizza box? Have you noticed that when she closes the door and she tilts it sideways?
And she gives him like a $12 tip.
It kills me.
Just
does she?
threw the money at him.
Yeah, it was $8 for the pizza, and she threw 20 at him.
Yeah.
Like, for somebody who's so concerned about money for an apartment and possible abortion, it's like, come on.
Impossible abortion. You might be right. That might be what it's all about.
I totally read that on the message boards, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, but, I mean, I don't believe it, but...
I don't know. How about when they said extra anchovies?
Yeah, a nod to...
Loverboy.
Loverboy, yeah. I was going to say Can't Buy Me Love, Loverboy, yeah.
You know that one, Christian?
No.
Patrick Dempsey?
Yeah, he's a fucking... Extra anchovies means that they're ordering the...
Oh, wait. The movie Can't Buy Me Love?
No, it's called Loverboy.
No, I don't know Loverboy. I know the movie Can't Buy Me Love.
That's a good movie, too. Oh, shit. That's okay. That's all right. But all in all, it's a good movie. I just don't like what goes on at the end, I guess. I enjoy the movie. I appreciate all the technical stuff. You know, the way they zoom, the way it's filmed.
I would have liked a little... Yeah, I would have liked a little explanation about who Mother is.
See, and I love the fact that they don't do any of that. And she takes a babysitting gig. She's at this creepy house. They manage to make it really spooky that she's just literally walking around the house. Yet I'm intrigued and it's scary. And then she faints, wakes up, and is part of the satanic sort of ritual. And it just gets creepier and gorier and bloodier. But she does get away a little easy. Admittedly, that I don't know if that's necessarily takes anything away from my enjoyment of the movie. But I thought that whole ending was gory. Like, she slips in the blood, trips over the body, is covered in blood at the end, manages to sort of, well, not kill them all, but do some damage there, and then escape and decides to blow her own brains out and hope that kills her. And it doesn't, and we're left wondering what's going to happen to her next because she's alive and pregnant and lying in a hospital bed, and the movie ends. I mean... it doesn't answer any questions. We're kind of given little hints here and there, and that's about it. But I had no issues with that.
What if the nurse at the end was Tom Noonan? Or she gives birth to a 6'6" baby?
Or Toby. What if it was Toby from Popcorn and he's wearing one of his new faces?
Dee Wallace is connected to him. She actually... Yeah, she fucked what's his name? What's the guy's name? That's where Toby
Lanyard Gates?
Yeah, him. Yep. Yeah, she fucked the bad guy in both movies.
I can't believe we talked about Popcorn. We never mentioned Lanyard Gates.
I know.
Because the minute they started talking about Lanyard Gates, I was like, that's the stupidest fucking name I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that's it.
Lanyard Gates.
Yeah.
But it's a perfect name for a horror movie.
I'll tell you what. This is Ty West. This is probably my favorite Ty West movie.
This is in my top 10 Ty West movies. No, I still say Innskeepers is my favorite Ty West film.
I do like that.
Yeah, this is Innskeepers are mine. I like Sacrament as well. Not to the same extent. I know Dave, it's not your favorite.
Don't started yet.
Yeah, whatever.
He's heating up over there.
Nah, I'm not heating
No, I like this film, even though, it's weird. I spent a lot of time, we all kind of did, nitpicking things, but, that's what we do. But
not Christian. Christian blew it. You blew it the whole review, buddy.
Yeah, get off your knees. You're blowing the review.
I was cupping the balls as well.
Get off your knees. You're blowing the review. Hey, we didn't do shout-outs.
Do a shout-out.
I'd like to give a shout-out to my arms for always being by my side.
Oh.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no more shout-outs.
Oh, shit.
And also my fingers, because I can always count on them.
Shit. How about Christian? I'll give a shout out for Christian because he's all the shit he's been talking about horrorphilia, and I got 3 shows, and now he's gonna have 3 shows on the network.
Well, no, I don't know about 3 yet. I have to get TGIF on there.
Oh, I thought it was a from what I heard, I thought it was a given.
Oh, it was
good.
I'm
not liking the fact that you guys are starting to spread yourself a little thin.
No, sorry, Brandon, but that's a given. And Dave, the TGF 13 thing is going to happen. I just threw it out there, to Jason, I haven't pulled the trigger yet because I've been doing too much, watching these movies, catching up on found footage, and then we recorded the other show. So,
Right.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter. You put out the shows when you put them out. He doesn't rush you.
Yeah.
You don't care. You can
I'm
put
starting
out
a new
one show
podcast too.
every 2 months for all he cares. You
No,
know?
Brandon, you're not allowed yet. I don't know.
I am.
Yeah.
The ABCs of found footage.
It's in your contract. You can't do another show.
Or the ABCs of exposed horror.
We got a 5-year non-compete.
Nice. Nope, we got you wrapped up, man.
Yeah.
Rookie of the year.
I just watched 97 films in the last 6 weeks, and
You better not be putting that review anywhere but on this show.
and it's for one show.
That's right. That's right.
One show.
Yep. You got your own segment every week. You just say what you want to say. That's it.
And what are you going to say? What are we going to ratings then for the movie that I blew?
Yeah. Go ahead. You're fucking. You're blowing it. You may as well give it your 10.
Yeah, give it your Toxic Avenger, your Lord of Illusions.
I didn't give Lord of Illusions a 10. I wanted to give it a 10, but I didn't. I'm giving this movie.
You did. I thought you did give it a 10.
No, I think I gave it a 9.5.
Yeah, I don't think you gave it a 10.
I thought you said fuck it. I'm giving it a 10.
Maybe I did.
Yeah, fuck it. Fuck it. I'm giving this a 10.
My memory is like Dave's all of a sudden.
Me? I'm not
Yeah.
that high. What 10 did I give?
My memory.
No, his memory.
Oh, you're
I
witch.
see.
Your simpleness is rubbing off on him.
What the fuck?
The Witch, I give it a 30 out of 10. For every time I watched it. Boom! I give House of the Devil a 9 out of 10.
Wow. Nice. You do love this movie.
That is very high.
Yeah, it is high. Well, here's my feelings on the movie. I really enjoy the movie. But there's just a couple things. There's nothing bad. I mean, just a couple things that I wish were done differently. So, this comes at a 7.5 for me.
Yeah, it's weird because I want to rate this movie so much higher. Because even the things that I was nitpicking in Christian's defense, he likes the fact that they didn't, force feed you all this stuff. When certainly today's films sometimes do that. Because this film was trying to be like an older film, and it succeeded in that. In that sense, it's a 9, maybe even higher. But for me, in terms of my overall enjoyment of it, and again, this was just a second-time view. I will watch this movie again, but I'm going to come in with a 7.5.
Okay.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
The first movie, I had the same rating as Christian, and the second movie, I had the same rating as Brandon.
Yeah. And I told Christian before we started recording, I said this is going to be an interesting review because this was a film that honestly, 2.5 point range I was in. I could have gone as low as a 6 if you guys had picked it apart and disliked it, and I could have gone as high as 8.5.
Yeah.
If you guys had maybe said something that I was like, oh, I never thought of that. But honestly, it's a good film. It's worth checking out. It's worth owning.
Yeah, I own it. I have the blue. I've had it for a long time.
Yeah, I actually don't own it. I rented it from Netflix, so I need to actually own the film because I like it. I'm intrigued by it.
I'll tell you what. The first time I saw it, I might have given it like an 8.5.
See, it's funny. The first time I watched it, I remember being very underwhelmed. I probably would have been at like a 6.5.
Really?
Yeah, I
just did it to Dave. Really?
Really? Yeah, I definitely went up this viewing because I appreciate slower burn. I like slow burn films. I appreciate, the style.
Yeah, man.
And that more than, when the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, a new horror movie that's getting, all the rage, I hope it's gory and crazy. And then you watch it and it's like, oh. It's not. Until the last 2 minutes.
But I guess it's polarizing to a lot of people because they wanted us to talk about it. I never would have, when we put it out there, I never would have guessed that House of the Devil would have gotten all those votes.
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't know what to expect, but I enjoyed that.
I'm here for you, the listeners, to speak on your behalf. 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. And what did you give? Oh, okay, yeah, 7.5. That's right. Yeah. It seems like there's one high rating every week.
It seems like Christian's become the new me.
I know he is. Yes.
Christian's just giving out 10s left and right.
What have I get? Oy, oy, oy. I've given it 1, possibly 2 10s.
Hey, relax. You're 2 10s.
That was
Definitely higher. Yeah, man. You're definitely higher than Brandon lately.
Yeah, it's weird. I think look what's happening. Remember what happened at the end of last year when I'd watched 159, 160 movies from last year, and I was burning out. And now I'm starting to burn out because I'm reaching the end of the list. And I'm also starting to watch 2016 films.
Yep.
Yeah.
More of those coming. And next show, there's going to be a new movie again. We just don't know what. It's only going to be one movie because we're doing that format.
We're doing one movie next show?
Yes, because it's
Nice.
it's one away from the big one. See?
Ooh, the
So
big
it
one.
goes. Well, yeah, the big one's when we do 3 movies on the 5s or the 10s.
Oh,
You know
that's
what I'm
right.
saying? So that's
Yeah.
how it's going to be. So the movie, the show before the big one and after the big one, it's going to be just one movie. That's
It's a big one.
Yeah, it's sandwiched.
It's a big one. Reminds me
Yeah.
of that scene in Caddyshack 2 when he's like, when he asks about his nationality and Jackie Mason says my mother was like half Irish, half German, half Polish, and he's like, that's 3 halves. Oh, she was a big woman.
Fucking Caddyshack 2, of all things.
Caddyshack 2 is a great film. Very underrated.
Yeah,
I've heard people say that recently.
it's horrible.
Yeah. I
No,
think
it's not.
horrible,
Jackie
too.
Mason's absolutely hilarious in it.
He's a poor man's Rodney. I just can't take anyone in that kind of role. He might be hilarious, and he may. I just can't give him a chance. I guess I don't know.
Because you miss Rodney.
Yeah, because I miss Rodney. That's right. That's true. And Chevy Chase trying to do Bill Murray's part. Is it Chevy? No, Dan Aykroyd. Sorry, Dan Aykroyd trying to do Bill Murray's part is fucking horrible. It's the worst acting he's ever done.
It is. I never thought Rodney was the best part of Caddyshack 1, though.
Well,
One
he's
of them.
definitely a good chunk of the
They
reason
all
it's good.
are. Rodney, Ted White.
Ted Knight.
Ted
Knight.
Everybody, we're all gonna get
Ted
laid.
Knight's the movie.
I said Ted White.
Ted White.
Mr.
Yeah, Ted
fucking-
White was good in it
Oh,
too.
Ted White's awesome.
He played fucking.
Call the boy. I'll show you, and then he starts setting his shoes on fire.
Yes, yeah, that part's great.
No, Grandpa, I'm playing tennis today. You're playing golf.
It's great, man. And that's how we end our show today, talking about Caddyshack. It's been coming
All
out for
day.
some reason.
Well,
Caddyshack. So yeah,
want a hot dog? I want a hamburger.
you'll get nothing and like it.
Like it.
Awesome. Oh shit. So yeah, I didn't mean to call him Ted White. I got fucking Jason on the brain. I pictured fucking Jason from the final chapter on the golf course. Ted White, when he chopped the head off that gopher. Fucking. So anyway, yeah, one more Friday reference on the way out too. So yeah, next show. Oh, we're supposed to have a special guest next show. So we'll see if it. I'm not going to say who it is just in case he can't record on that day. But
Or she.
or she, yes. But we're going to have a special guest. So, we'll see. That's the plan, that and one movie. So, that'll be episode 14. So,
Ooh.
hope you enjoyed episode 13, Listener's Choice. Again, we went long, but we had fun. So, hope you guys liked it
We had fun. Jesus,
Yeah.
no one told me. Never
a little
told me.
bit. We'll do better next time. We'll have more fun next show, I think, though.
I hope so.
Yeah. Every show was more fun. That's why I say that, see?
More and more
Christian.
fun.
Christian,
Yeah.
get off your knees. You're blowing the reviews.
He's blowing the devil.
It's a great film. It's a great fucking film. I'm blowing the devil. I don't care.
You suck cock in hell. Oh shit.
That's a great movie
Okay.
in 1974.
Yes, 74. What a year. Yep, we all knew the year. Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, we got to get out of here, man. So,
Yeah.
again, thanks, everybody. And we'll see you next episode. Anybody have anything to say before we drop out?
just good night.
Good night.
All right. Good night.
Say,